What's up, everybody? We are here for episode number 4, A Town of Sorrow of Ravenloft Mist-Fits. We are here to play some Curse of Strahd, and we're hoping that you enjoy it. We are live. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm Jonny. I'm the DM for this campaign. And for a list of all of our lovely cast members' names, socials, and pronouns, go ahead and type !cast in the chat. And we stream Ravenloft Mist-Fits each Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, excluding the last Monday, which will be next week, which we reserve for our one-shot of the month. And this one-shot of the month, we're actually going to be playing a community-made game, not D&D per se, but tabletop RPG nonetheless. So tune in next week to see that. It's going to be fun. Make sure to follow us, subscribe to the channel if you would like, participate in the chat. We want to build a good community here surrounding the love for D&D and other TTRPGs, so make sure to talk to people and have fun. So, yeah, and as far as inspiration goes for our sessions going forward, if you always want to check in, we update that for the beginning of the session. You just have to do !inspiration, which will be right there. And, yeah, so let's talk about our sponsors, Ryan.
Yeah, we would like to take the time to talk about our supporters of this specific campaign of Ravenloft Mist-Fits. And first of all, we want to thank our main sponsor of the campaign, Roll20. If you're watching this stream and you're looking for a way to get together with friends online, Roll20 is a great way to do so. You can check them out at roll20.net and type !Roll20 in the chat for a direct link. It's what we're using for all of our battle maps. They're fantastic. Lots of cool features, different plans for people to join. I highly recommend it, so check them out.
Yeah. And next, we also want to thank Syrinscape for allowing us to use their awesome music application. It's filled with epic sounds and music that are true to the Barovian experience. And if you're interested, please type !music or !Syrinscape in the chat, and it'll give you a link to the playlist that we use so that you can start your own Curse of Strahd campaign.
Yeah, we'd also like to shout out Skull Splitter Dice. We are affiliates for this awesome TTRPG store. If you all want to support our show, you can use our affiliate link by typing !dice or !Skull Splitter Dice into the chat, where you can find all their various products, including mystery dice bags. But yeah, check them out if you're interested.
Yeah, and we are also affiliated with Phineas Coffee for gamers. I personally have the Champions blend, and it's really good coffee. Check them out. You can support the show by following our affiliate link, and you can use TalkingXP in the coupon code area to get 10% off your order. So go ahead and type !coffee in the chat or !Phineas Coffee, and you can get a link directly to their website and help support us. So,
yeah, and then lastly, if you are part of an organization or a company that would like to be involved with us, Talking XP, please contact us through our email at talkingxp@gmail.com, and we're more than open to, hear from you guys and partner up, so.
Perfect. Well, with all of those out of the way, we shall begin. So, with a recap, you all came to Barovia with your own histories and backstories, finding a mist-filled forest. Following a muddy road in the rain, you came to a Wiccan manor that demanded blood. After refusing the sacrifice at the basement of this manor, a giant flesh monster was called upon by the cult's spirits. After a tight situation, you were all able to nimbly escape the grasp of this monster to find that the house had transformed into a slaughterhouse, if you will, with multiple death traps and different enemies set to impede your escape. As you barreled down the stairway, you discovered that the front door had been bricked up, and after one failed attempt, you saw the flesh monster rapidly descending the stairway. However, just before it reached you, Blaire, Grimm, and Johans came together to create a teamwork blast towards this bricked up door, which allowed each of you to narrowly escape with your lives. As you turn back to look at the doorway, you found the original apparitions of Thorn and Rose waving behind, saying goodbye. So, as you all stand just outside of the manor, you find that the situation in which you had been in this small town has changed. One moment. Here we are. So, as you lay on the muddy ground in this pouring rain, you turn to find yourselves on the cusp of a cold and drab town. Muddy pathway leads from the Durst Manor and gives way to a slick, wet cobblestone street that winds through this small village. Each dwelling you can see is boarded up and worse for wear, and the silence is cut only by a lone mournful sobbing that echoes throughout the streets. And I also want to point out that Estella is currently unconscious due to the battle that you guys had with that flesh monster just before escaping its grasp. So, with that, Ravenloft Mist-Fits, what would you like to do?
Is there any, signs of life in any of these houses? Do they look occupied?
Go ahead and do a perception check.
I'll kind of sit down on the ground next to Estella's unconscious body and kind of just look over.
Did you say investigation?
Perception.
Or perception, okay.
Did I say? I don't know.
I hit
Perception
performance
is
on
what I
accident,
want.
ignore that. Okay, 16.
Well, I'm going to take that roll because we always do that. It's
if you
based off
want.
of the roll and then you add
I'm just
it's
trying to
both
be
plus
honest.
2 anyways. I
If you
get you, but
If you want, I'm just trying to be honest.
going
I
forward.
appreciate it.
I'm laying down the law.
All
if you
right.
roll something, but it's the wrong skill, I'm taking the roll and then adding your skills modifier.
That's
because
fine.
you don't just roll a d20 and be like, oh, I was just adding performance.
I guess you're right, but I just
So-
click. All right, I appreciate
Zack,
it.
how
That's
dare
fair.
you.
Oh,
So-
just trying to do a nice thing.
And you
All
know,
right.
I appreciate you taking the lower number and just going with it. But no,
happy
I'm
with
going to
the-
give you
okay.
that 21.
Well, I appreciate that. So 21.
With a 21 perception,
Perceive the hell
First.
out of this place.
you were able to see that there are people coming and going in the streets, very few.
Okay.
And one of the
The
main
place-
things that really kind of gets your attention is that sobbing that you could just hear echoing throughout the streets of this town. It
Yeah.
doesn't sound ghostly in any way. It seems to be some woman is crying for whatever reason.
Okay. Can I, with my 21, just kind of determine where that's coming from? Like what direction?
Towards the center of town.
Okay. But so basically, all I want to know is that the place is not abandoned. There's life
Right.
around. Okay.
Yes, there is
Great.
definitely life around.
Great.
If Estella is on the ground and Katya is not currently holding her still, so I'm gonna sit down next to her, just take a breather, as I just kind of look at everybody. I don't know what the hell that was back there, but I hope that we don't run into something like that again.
That was certainly nothing that can be explained.
I'm guessing none of you have dealt with things of that nature before.
Goodness, no. It's out of.
Nothing like that.
Nothing but rumors. Lost.
What? It is almost as if we were lured there by something, you know?
I
Something
agree.
pushed us in. Whatever
Like-
controlled the mist.
I don't think we're out of the woods just yet.
No. I think we should find some place to rest. We
Yeah,
need to
we,
find
I-
shelter.
we need to
I think we
bring.
need to be careful too.
We need to help Estella. We can't just keep her laying on the ground. We
Well,
should probably
obvious.
find an inn for her.
Obviously. I'm gonna.
Well, you
I'll
do.
pick
I
up
can't
Estella.
do anything about that.
I mean, I
Sure.
imagine she'll wake up when she wakes up.
Yes, so we should
I-
find somewhere dry for all of us to lick our wounds.
Before we go, I suggest caution. that house we were just in, it did have a lot of illusion and necromantic magic, which means we cannot trust anything or anyone that we come across. At any point,
Absolutely.
any person we could be talking to could potentially be a monster waiting for us to let our guards down.
Well, then should we even be staying in the town? Should we be trying to make our way to
I
the
don't
woods?
think we have a choice.
Is there
And
any
the
more
woods
mist
As you-
would be
around?
dangerous.
I was about to say, as you look back towards the forest, you see this giant wall of mist that goes up higher than you can see past the clouds. Think, I don't know if you have, not to rip us out, but Shadow and Bone, I don't know if you guys seen it, but the black clouds that come up,
Okay.
that's what
So
it looks like except with mist.
So like a Fortnite storm circle.
Not dissimilar.
Yes-ish.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay,
I didn't
yeah,
want to
I-
put this out.
That
I'll look up at that and say, yes, I don't think we'll be going anywhere until whoever it is wants us to.
Yeah, it seems all too convenient that we're just here in this town now.
I can only hope that we are at the will of something benevolent. But I doubt it somehow. I'm gonna pick up Estella and suggest we get on our way.
If you guys are going in there, I don't know if it's a good idea for me to go there. Last time I was in a town, it wasn't well received.
Anybody got a cloak? Just put a hat on.
Yes, I'll like unfurl my cloak and just put the hood up. Keep yourself hidden. You should be fine. Let us do the talking.
Stay close.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Of course.
So,
No, go ahead.
I'm imagining that you guys are going down that muddy path that goes into the.
Yeah, we're just
The
heading
streets, I'm
toward the
sure.
center.
As I also take the cloak from Katya, I be very careful to kind of curl it around my hands before
Sure.
I'm taking
Go ahead and
it.
do. a
I'm imagining he
stealth
like
check.
bundles it up like a
Yeah,
blanket,
yeah.
like on Saturday morning, where you like
course.
completely
Right.
robe yourself up.
But what are you wanting me to do,
Let's see.
Johnny?
Just a stealth check. Just a base. Yeah, 21.
Damn.
Easy. Yeah.
Nice.
You gave me a really nice cloak.
You are covered in leather armor as well, so I would say that it came with like gloves and you already have shoes on. So the only
Sweet.
thing that you really have to cover is your face, and the cloak itself is deep hood. So
Are these
So-
fingerless gloves or are these solid
that's
gloves?
up to you. I mean, well, they're solid gloves, but you can
Okay.
make them fingerless pretty
Okay.
easily.
Okay.
You can be punk if you want to.
Hell yeah.
You could.
Add some spice.
So
I'll
As you slowly make your way
If I
down.
can, sorry. If I can add my flavor to it, they're gonna be like wraps that I'll put around.
sure, that works. Yeah. No worries. So as you make your way down this slippery, muddy pathway, you finally arrive to the broken cobblestone streets. And a new sound greets your ears as you see a door closing in front of an older woman. She turns away from the door and returns to a large wooden cart behind her, where you see dozens of steaming pies. As you look at her, her gaze naturally makes her way over to you and... well, hello there. You're a bunch of new faces. Oh my goodness, you all look so hurt and hungry. Please, come. Have one of my homemade meat or veggie pies, whichever one you would prefer. She references to the cart filled with delicious-looking pies.
Give a side eye to Joel and just kind of shake my head. Or sorry, Johans.
I up glance at Blaire and I just shake my head.
What's wrong?
I'll approach. Say, oh, what?
Oh my goodness, you have a friend on your shoulder there. She doesn't look very good, and she kind of like grabs her cheek and moves it a little bit.
I'll just like put that shoulder back.
Oh,
at least.
oh,
no touching,
sorry.
no touching,
Sorry.
please.
My bad. I didn't mean to pie.
No
She-
worries. She's had a hard night, and I would prefer she get some rest without being
well
disturbed.
then, here.
She's
And she
super
grabs it. Do you know if she's a vegetarian or not? Okay, that's fine.
Best to be safe.
I'll give you a veggie one. And she
Hey.
grabs a veggie pie. Yeah, just take that and you can give that to her.
Okay.
She looks like she's
I'll
probably
take
hungry.
one as well. Two, please.
Oh, of course. Yeah, meat or veggie?
Meat, please.
Oh, of course. Yeah. You look like a meat person. Grabs a meat one, brings
I
it
like
over.
will turn around like, you seeing this shit? Everybody else like, meat person.
Can I make a perception check on this lady?
Sure. What are you trying to
Like
do?
an insight?
I
want
want.
it.
Sorry, yeah, like I wanna. Is she all there?
Yeah, okay, that would be insight. Go ahead and do an insight check.
Okay.
Love an
And I
insight.
want to make sure that this isn't. I mean, this is just me being paranoid already, but. 13.
13.
Yes.
She does look like she's all there. Yes. She looks like she is what you would basically assume to be a loving grandmother. You get heavy grandmother vibes of, oh my god, you're so skinny, let me give you some food kind of thing.
I said, do you want some tamales?
Exactly.
I'm gonna step forward and I'm going to just.
She kind of looks down a little bit.
Hey, for your troubles, and I give her 1 gold coin.
Oh, please, no. I do this from the caring of my heart because you see, the people here they're so down. And I think that it's my job to gather materials and make these pies for them, you know? So this one's on the house, please. You look terribly hurt and hungry. You can have veggie or meat.
Oh, I'm fine. I have not been. I am. just
You still look hungry. No, please, veggie or meat. Which one? Because I'm going to give you one.
I look down at him and I'll say, it's rude to say no.
Exactly. Listen to your friend here.
I take a bite out of mine.
It's so good.
Is it good?
It's so good.
I'll take a meat one, sure.
Okay, a meat one, of course. See, I could have gone either way. Brings over a meat one.
So you are truly a blessing, grandmother. What kind of meat is this? This is delicious.
This and that. We have, there's Wolf here, and I usually get whatever the hunters can give me. You know how it is.
As long as she didn't.
I myself can't go out and do the hunting,
Oh,
so
no,
I need to wait.
Of course not.
What do they usually bring you?
Just wolf meat, usually. Wolves are in high abundance here. But, rabbit every once in a while, and deer. Deer is a rare occasion, though.
Delicacy. We're all waiting for her to say people.
You should stay here for when I do get venison. When I get venison, whew.
I'll take a couple more from her and turn back to Grimm and Blaire and say really, you should try it. It's quite good.
It is.
hand
If I
them
do
over.
say so myself.
Old lady, grandma, young precious thing. Do you know?
Just call me Granny.
Okay. Do you know of any place where we could rest in safety?
Well, if you're looking for a tavern, the Blood of the Wine Tavern is probably the place to go.
Could you show us where it is?
Sure. Well, I can't bring you there because she references the card. I have many deliveries to do. But if you take a left, right over there.
Just to
she
clarify,
points
is
over
the-
to here.
On the left in the bourbon.
Of course. Well, no. See, at the end, the badibida, it goes actually a dibidibida.
Oh, is that
Yes.
badabada?
Yes.
Thank you.
And
very
looks
much.
over towards Blaire. What about you? You're looking hungry.
I took a couple and
Okay.
handed them over. I'm here.
Yeah,
Here, really, you ought to try it. It's quite good. I'm
You're a
holding them
veggie
out.
person. Yeah, I knew it. Grabs a veggie, brings it over, and then she sees the mysteriously hooded person in the very back. And you, friend, you look very skinny. Maybe 2 pies for you.
2 pies for him.
1 of each.
I'll just nod my head
Perfect.
slowly.
Grabs
and
2 without you even saying anything.
Can you put one on top of the other?
Now that's an
Pie.
idea.
Sandwich.
What would we call that?
A pie.
Pie. Yep.
Yes.
Because pie. Yep. But yeah, something like that. I'll keep thinking, but that's a great idea. What's your name?
Pie, yeah. My name?
Yes, you.
I'm Johans.
Oh, I'll call it the Johans then.
Oh.
There we
okay.
go, and then hands it over to Grimm.
I
Um,
am now holding this in my bandaged hand, just looking at it.
The Johan.
Well, I better be going. I have
before
other
you
deliveries
go,
to do.
one last thing, Granny. Could you tell
What?
us anything about the Durst family? What do you know of them?
Nothing.
Oh, the Durst family. The ones that used to live in that manor up there.
Yes,
Oh.
that one.
Terrible curse struck them. Ooh, worse than I've ever known. But I wasn't there to see it. It was a long time ago. It was maybe a few hundred years ago.
Oh, wow. Do curses like that happen often around here?
Yes. You're not from around here, obviously.
We're new.
Well,
Incurious.
What causes these curses?
Well, there's a whole bunch of magic that's happening here, and mainly it's because of the Dark Lord that rules over
And
these
this-
lands. And she points up. As she points up, it's like the mist begins to part, and you see at the top of the mountain, perched to look directly down on this village, you see a giant castle. You hear thunder. And you see a two-spired castle with
Castle.
1,000 feet on either side dropping. And she just says, that's where the Dark Lord lives. He's not the nicest person ever. So,
I see.
Have you interacted with him yourself?
no, God, no, never. I would never speak to, well, at least I would try not to speak with this person, but you don't really have a choice sometimes.
Do they
I
have
see.
a name?
Strad von Zorovich is his name.
Wait, isn't that...
I see.
No.
Well, thank you for your trouble, Granny. We appreciate it very much.
I
the delicious pies.
I do have one more question. You said the Durst family, that curse happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
Has there ever been people who have gone up to the manor, or has there been disappearances?
Kids go up to the manor all the time, but it's kind of one of those
if you break
ghost
some glass,
stories,
you
you
get
know?
you get a witch. You get a wish. Lord.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't go anywhere near that home. That place is.
Do those kids come back? Usually?
Well, I don't know. I don't really pay attention too much to people that go up there, but I would hope so. I don't know of any monsters in there.
Thank you.
Why are you so interested in the manor?
We just heard a legend. We wanted to know if it was true.
Oh, well, sure. That's the same legend that I've heard. So, nothing new
Wonderful.
here.
Interesting. Well, thank you for
Madam-
your help, Granny.
Of
One last
course.
thing. One last
Sure.
thing. My name is Johans.
Right. Yeah, you've already told me.
Yes. It's important that you remember the name. Because
Johans. Yeah, it's the
it
name
is-
of the new
it is-
pie that goes right on top of each other. I won't
That's
forget
right.
that.
Good to know. I make a living helping others. If there is any moment in which you or anyone you know might need some help, please let me know. I will be
Sure.
staying at the tavern that you pointed out, that I totally remember the directions for.
But absolutely, yeah. Remember the blah 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 at the very end,
I do,
okay?
yes.
But yes, I mean
Of course.
you're in the industry of helping people, and so am I. You see, I walk around and give food to people.
Fantastic.
You're like business partners.
That would be wonderful. And I already have something named after you, so already
another
that step.
time before it's my time to help you.
I am ready for a partnership. Well, all right. Well, and she gets behind the wagon. It was very nice to meet all of you.
Nice meeting
Let
you.
me know
Take
if you
care,
need
Granny.
another meat pie or a veggie pie.
Goodbye, Granny.
It sounds like she actually just mimicked her voice getting
She's
lower
actually
and lower,
like
but she's
taking
still
steps.
like right in front of
Yeah.
you. Bye.
Of course.
Classic.
Still going.
Just going really slowly.
We're just
Really
gonna-
slow. Like
we'll
this
just-
cart is probably pretty heavy, but she's just going away with it.
I look over at Johans and take the gold coin out of his hand and like flick it into the back of her cart without her knowing,
I have a question
Sure.
for everybody.
just while she's looking away.
How tall roughly is everybody? I mean, I know Johans is the tiniest.
I think I'm like 6 foot. I wrote it down somewhere. I'm 6 foot something. I'm like 6'1".
Dang.
2.
Okay, I think you're the tallest then out of
It's a
the
tall
group.
woman.
Yeah.
I'm like 5'6".
She a tall girl.
Definitely.
Katya sounds more and more interesting by the second. I'm just, for no reason, saying that out loud. Just,
I believe
Oh,
my character's
you're
around
tall.
5'10"-ish.
Oh, yours says. Never mind.
What, mine?
What?
Nothing. No, Katya.
Some,
but it's fine.
I definitely
Here's
got
what
your
it is.
size wrong on the this thing, so like don't look too closely at it.
That's fine. I might have
Well,
changed
I mean,
it just now.
your character sheet says 5'11".
Okay, well, I was close.
It's all
I
a
said
matter
like
of
I said
perspective.
6'1". So
Cool. Yeah. I was just wondering, like,
Okay.
as we're walking through the streets towards this tavern, if that's what we are sounding like we're doing, I just want to see, like, how do we look? Because, like, am I, like, sticking out like a toothpick's
Kind
sore
of.
thumb? But, I mean, I'm not the
Estella
tallest,
is-
though, so...
Estella is the. I would. No,
I
Estella
am the
is.
neon sign
Yeah.
of this
Alright,
does
well,
not
I'm not
belong
talking about
here.
our group in general. I'm talking about, like, me specifically in the group. Like, how am I standing out amongst the group completely cloaked? I
I
mean,
think I would be the one that looks the weirdest, right? Because everyone else is it's about
You just
average,
look like
and then
a
there's
kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You
that's
just
true.
look like a child.
That's
you
true.
both look like kids.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
You-
I would say. I mean, you're kind of like probably bundling up inside of everybody and have your hood up. So I don't think you're the one that really pays or anybody pays too much attention to because you're only. I mean, you're a regular height, right? I mean, you're an average.
yeah. 5.
Yeah. So I mean,
yeah.
nobody
super
really
average.
like what Joel says. I mean, it's mostly like, is that an adult walking?
Why is a
and-
group of adventurers traveling with a child?
Right. And then you see that people do give Estella a few looks, but there's not a lot of people that you pass. I mean, this place looks, I don't want to say dead, but like
Not lively.
not lively for sure.
Everyone kind of just going to where they have to and just kind of.
Right. Right.
It's
They're
only
only coming out
mostly
when they
dead.
need to. It's only mostly dead.
But except in the Bibbidi Boop, there were a few people that would.
Of course. Yeah. When you, yeah. Right. Of course.
Yeah. Of course.
So
We're going to
you
the
all-
town, assuming, right?
you all are, yeah. You're making your way over to the tavern. Let's open this up.
God,
So-
we need to just do directions like that forever.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't want to tell you exactly how to do it because you have a map in front of you, and I'm too lazy to get that.
It's okay.
Anyways,
Totally fair.
so as you make your way through the village, listening to the directions that were given to you, you see a single shaft of light thrusting illumination into the main square of this town. Its brightness looking like a solid pillar in heavy fog. Above the gaping doorway, you see a sign hanging precariously askew, proclaiming this to be the Blood on the Wine Tavern. Oh, Blood on the Vine Tavern, sorry.
That makes way more sense.
As you enter, you see the bartender pays you no mind as he continues to clean a few mugs that he has set on the bar just in front of him. At one end of the room, you see a blazing hearth with 3 women dressed in colorful clothing stare at you as you enter, then return to their own conversations. At the other end of the room, you see 2 people having a hushed argument. The one facing you, a male, human, stops what he's saying, looks to your group, which causes the auburn-haired woman seated away from you to turn around. The man looks back to the woman and begins to get up as she holds onto his wrist, hoping he would stop, but brings his hand away and approaches your group. Hello, travelers. You look weary.
Well, hello.
May I buy you a drink?
We'd really prefer to get to bed first.
Well, bed is something that I may be able to help you with. But first, would you mind joining us at the table?
We kind of have a, and I just
Like-
kind of motion to the
Yeah.
the drow on.
Is it
Katya's
something
shoulder.
urgent?
No, but it looks like you need at least some time to rest. Take a load off, please.
I'm holding.
And he
Over
like
my
goes out
shoulder.
and grabs a chair. Here, you can place it here. I imagine that would be okay. Or
I look
Maybe-
down at Johans and I'm like,
Sir,
Did-
can I want to ask a quick question from you.
Sure, of course.
Why the rush, really? Clearly
see,
you want something of us. You see us as adventurers that are of some use to whatever it is.
You
that
see the woman getting up as you're talking to him, and he's, see, Ismark, just leave them alone. They don't want to talk. And Irene, I know, but okay, fine. Sorry for bothering you. Please.
Wait, hold on.
Wait,
Wait a minute. I'm not saying you're bothering us. We just went through a lot. Some of my companions need to rest. I can listen to whatever it is you get to say because I don't have a lot to rest. I do have some ritual stuff I have to do. If you want, we can talk while I do that.
Listen, my brother has a...
Okay.
He is too excited. Well, he's in a rush, as you said. He wants to make sure that... He wants us to go to Valakai, the city that is a few days' travel out of this village. And he was hoping that you would help us with that. He sees that you are adventurers, but I told him to leave you alone. Anyways, please, if you will, join us for a drink, some time to rest. It seems that your friend may need some time to rest, and we can talk. If
Okay.
that's okay with you, of course.
okay, I'll shoulder Estella into the chair and I'll set her
Sure.
up at a table. I'll put the little pie in front of her,
Sure.
and then I'll like turn to the party and say, "So, should we just hear them out really quickly?"
We don't all have to if we plan to stick together. You could take Estella up to put her on the bed, get her resting.
I can take her upstairs.
Are you gonna be able to
There's-
carry her?
There is no upstairs.
Oh,
It is a one-floor tavern.
I will take. I
can
can
take her
take
to
her to the bed. I think I can manage.
I-
I'm not the strongest, but I think I
Is-
can at least.
Ismark kind of... when I was talking about a bed, there is none here. There is one in our manor on the edge of the town. Listen, I understand that you are not from here.
Look around. I'm
No
like,
offense.
This is an inn, is it not?
It is a tavern, yes, but
Oh, tavern.
There's-
Did we ask for a tavern and not an inn? That's
No.
on us.
We asked for
Oh,
an inn.
I
We just got a
asked. We
tavern.
asked for a name. Yes.
yeah. Well,
Let's lay her on let's lay her on a table at least, so she's. At
Well,
least,
well, we
So
have a
she-
booth
so-
seat.
so
We have
she
a booth
just-
seat. Maybe
So,
she can just
come
lay
over
down
to
dead.
the. So I put Estella down at the table. I put the pie in front of her. I sit next to her and I look at the dude and I say, "You come to our table and we will hear you out."
Sure, yes, and he like immediately gets all of his drinks and brings them over.
The moment we sit down, I'm going to start ritual casting. Find familiar,
Okay, sure,
and I'm not going to stop until it's over.
sure.
Cool.
I
Sounds
would
good.
like to also try to check on Estella in general to see how her condition is doing, and then
Sure.
I have a thing I'd like to try as well after that.
Absolutely. Go ahead and do a medicine check.
Yeah. Okay.
I might
You can tell
have
that
to-
she's definitely in stable condition. she's unconscious and she has been knocked out, so you're not entirely
Okay.
sure when she will regain
Okay.
consciousness.
I would like to try something. I would like to, while we're sitting at this booth, I would like to kind of unravel a little part of this bandage on my hand closest to her.
Okay.
I kind of just put my skin against a part of like maybe like her temple, like where you'd like check a pulse almost.
The temple's up here.
Well, not temple. The side of the neck where you,
under the jaw.
yeah. And then I want to kind of focus a little bit of my necrotic energy in a way to kind of almost like in like a jump start kind of way to help, because I feel like it's been a while potentially at this point too. Like I mean, like she's been unconscious for. I mean, how long have we been walking around now?
I mean, it's been a matter of. I mean, how long have we been live?
About
like
30
Maybe
minutes.
like 30 minutes.
Okay,
It's been about
that's fair.
30 minutes. Yeah, because
Okay.
the village is very small.
Sure. Okay. Well, I would like
Maybe
to try
20.
to like see if I can maybe like do like a not
You
quite
want
a
a
smelling
jumper?
salts thing, kind of almost,
Slap
Like a
her.
car?
kind of. I want to see if that would work.
I'm a classic.
I'd like to use the
Go
spell
ahead and-
necrotic jumpstart.
Do a. What kind of a check is necrotic jumpstart?
Like Arcana, I guess?
I'm guessing he'd have to be doing at least a cantrip level spell.
I want to.
the
I want to
hell?
do. I want you to do another medicine check.
Okay.
I have a DC that I
Okay.
would like you to beat, but since you have, unfortunately, you quickly realize that as you put your hand on, you see black beginning to spread on her neck, and you quickly release your
Yep.
hand,
And I just bandage
and
back
you
up.
can see that. Yeah, you can see that the spot is still there, but slowly going away.
I want to get behind Grimm's ear and be like, "What you doing?"
I was trying to see if I could wake her up. Don't worry about it. It's not working.
Mm-hmm.
I
just kinda like
just let her wake up on her
Stare him
own.
in the eyes.
I have the cloak. I just pull it down further a little bit.
You see Ismark sit down at the table with you, and then Irina pulls a chair just next to Johan's, I would imagine, just kind of interested in what's going on.
Hello.
Hello, what are you doing?
Somebody in my owl.
I see. Okay, well, and she
got-
takes a drink.
I like
she's-
look and I like nod at
It's-
her like he is.
It's a long story.
Okay. Ismark kind of leans forward. Well, does anybody want a drink?
I do.
I'll take a drink.
Sure.
Okay, I will be right back. And he stands back up. Eric, 2 pitchers, please. And you see him just holding a glass, place it down.
What's the Barovian drinking age?
It's actually a
on the
height
counter.
requirement in this country.
And then turns back. Pours it out. With no facial expression whatsoever. Hands it over to Ismark, and Ismark says, "Thank you, I will pay you this 2 silver pieces after this." And he turns around and brings it back to the table where he sets them down and places a few cups down. Begins pouring some, hands one over to Johans, who showed interest, and he says, "Well, Irina put it lightly. Yes, we want to go to Valakai, but Irina has recently caught the attention of a monster that has terrorized this land for centuries. And with our father's recent passing, we were hoping to leave this town and find safety in the walls of Valakai, if possible." And Irina,
Okay.
so after our father's proper burial. Yes, of course. That was always in the plans. We were hoping to leave tomorrow morning after our burial. If you are interested, we may allow you to stay the night in our manor.
Is
It's
leaving
the south-
even possible right now? Last time I
What
looked
do you mean?
outside, that mist was kind of creating a
The mist
wall.
is always here. Oh, no, not that direction. No, the other way.
Oh, so the wall wasn't surrounding the town. It's only on one side.
It was a wall that was on the eastern side of the town. The other
Got it.
side of town.
So the western
there's
side's
no
clear. Where's the castle? What direction's that at?
The castle was northwest
Northwest.
of town. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So
Go ahead. I wasn't
no,
gonna say.
I got it. It's fine.
Cool. What is this monster?
I know that none of you are from here, but there is a person that rules over Barovia. His name is
Strahd.
Strahd van Torvet. Yes.
Heard.
Well,
Old lady with the
he
meat pies
is-
told us.
Oh, I see.
Speaking of, do you want some? And I put mine on the
I'm
table.
okay. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. Well, he is the one that has caught interest in Irina, and we need to get to safety. She
You say
says,
it's a monster.
even though I tell my brother that there is no going anywhere that is safe from him, but oh well.
So what makes you think this city is going to be much safer than here?
Well, I've heard that they have walls that are not impenetrable, but hard to get through. Better than here with no walls and no protection.
How
It's-
far is this journey that you're asking us?
About 10 days.
It's along the road. The road connects
Right.
the towns.
Yes, yes.
What exactly is it you're afraid he's going to do? Either if you stay or if you don't have us.
Well, he's not exactly the best person. So to put it lightly, we don't want him to fuck with us. And the best way to do that is to leave this place where he won't be able to see us and maybe find some safety. But
When you
like I
s-
said, I don't think that there is any safety in this land.
When you say see us, what exactly do you mean?
I mean, his castle that's up on the mountain that overlooks the village 24 hours a day.
Cut to the Eye of Sauron up on Barad-dûr.
I don't understand that reference, but yes.
So my question is, if you're not safe in this country, why don't you just leave?
You see Ismark, like, kind of spit up a little bit of his wine. I am sorry that I have to be the one to break it to each of you, but there is no leaving Barovia.
I suspected
is-
as much.
This is the place that you will be staying for the rest of your life.
It's okay. I wasn't planning to
Unfortunately.
living too long.
Well, good. Maybe you can find some safety with us in Valakai, as
What kind of things might we find on this road?
Excellent. This was my next question.
Irina pipes up and she said, well, there is a camp of Vistani. And you see Ismark say, yes, but you know that we can't trust the Vistani. And Irina, Ismark, we do not know these people. You only hear what everybody else says. You need to tone it down. He said, right, okay, fine. Don't mind my brother. These are people that I have been interested in that are... She kind of points behind her and shows the three people that are colorfully dressed. They are not Vistani exactly. They have been, from what I hear, they've been disbanded from the Vistani culture. But regardless, people like them, ish, are, what I hear and what I've studied, very hospitable. And mainly, I want to possibly use their fortune telling. And then you see Ismark just kind of drop his hand. He's like, really? Irina, we've already been over this. Nobody can see the future. And yes, but it doesn't hurt to try.
So,
Anyways, it is on the way. It is a shortcut. And Ismark, you now have to do it because you are being so rude. Fine.
what?
I have a question, if possible. Why should, this person is so powerful that no place in this place is safe, why should we sacrifice our lives for you?
That is what I was trying to tell Ismark. There is no reason why he should have came to you. And he's, well, listen, we don't have much.
Do you believe in hope?
We don't have much to give, and hope. You will quickly lose hope in these lands. But we have a chance. We have a chance in Valakai, and that is enough for us to try. You may call that hope, but it's different for us, I guess. Survival, yes. A chance at survival.
Do you like birds?
What?
Do you like birds?
Yeah, I guess. I'm not very interested in birds. Why?
That's unfortunate. I like birds. See, birds never lose hope. They are always out hunting, doing what they can to survive. I think you haven't lost your hope, which is why you came to us. I think you saw us as a beacon of hope in your eyes. But you're not fighting for your own survival. You're fighting for their survival, for each other's survival, right?
Well, I am fighting for my sister. She's of a mind to stay here and just take Strahd on herself. But I think that is extremely stupid.
I agree. Seems like this Strahd has a grip on everything around here. There is no reason for you to stay and fight.
Yes, but if we just leave, he'll just follow us. That's all I'm saying. It's not that I want to fight him myself. I know that would be stupid. I'm tired of hiding and running. That's all.
I get that. I hid and ran for very long. You know what? Sometimes hiding and running makes you live to the day when you get to have your own power.
Yes, you sound like my brother. Well,
He sounds like a wise man.
that's what I've been telling her.
Makes
See,
sense.
I knew that I should have approached you. I knew it. See, Irina?
Don't get too excited. I can't speak for the group. Just know that if the group decides it, and we take it to vote, as long as there's hope,
Estella.
there's a
Well-
way.
You begin to gain consciousness at that time.
What?
Oh, it looks like your friend is awake.
Did we
Good morning.
Did we?
Just
We're
just
safe.
rest.
Relax.
Everything seems
Take it
to be
easy.
okay.
Have some pie.
Look, Johans.
Okay.
Look, Johans.
Where are we?
I'm not against going.
We're in the town.
Oh, we should
Take it
we
easy.
should. You are in Barovia. It's
Okay.
I've heard
Yeah.
of Barovia before.
here. Maybe you need some wine. And he pours a cup of wine, sets it over.
Thanks. Go on.
Hey,
Johans.
you friend. And he's kind of like trying to look under your hood.
I'm kind of noticing this, and I kind of keep my head down a little bit lower as I kind of look over to Johans. I'm not against going to this other town with these people. It sounds like perhaps we can maybe figure something else out there once we get to that other place. And I think traveling with more people might benefit all of us. I look kind of amongst the rest of us.
More the merrier. She'll take a bite of the veggie pie.
And then I kind of look up, but still like kind of keeping my hood down towards our honored guests and speakers. I look towards Irina and I say, you guys were talking about the mist is always here. And since we've been here, I've noticed that it's dark all the time.
Oh, yes, the clouds never cease.
And that's, I'm guessing, magic. That's...
No stars?
No stars, barely a glimpse of the moon. It's...
That ain't right. That ain't right.
I totally...
What about this
I
place
agree.
has been right so far?
Has this been like this since you've been here?
Ever-
It's like, have
ever
you ever seen the
since-
stars?
Yes, Mark. Well, I saw the moon maybe 4 times in my life.
And if you've lived here your whole life?
Mm.
Oh.
It's on rare occasion, but it's just the way that we live.
When I'm done with this, you get to see the moon again.
Done with this.
It's too cool. Yes.
Well,
Spur.
I mean, if you're trying to kill Strahd, go for it. But that is your
dude,
funeral.
No one said-
that.
Wait,
I'm just.
wait, who-
well, if-
Whoa.
Well,
if-
Who talked about a merc job?
I was talking about my bird. Her name is Luna.
Oh, I see. I thought I was misunderstanding. I thought you were.
No,
the-
but it sounds
let me explain. The only way that the clouds go away is if Strahd dies. He is.
I just kind of, look at him, like, really get his attention, give him a hard look, and just, like, put my finger up to my lips.
No, well, he's
just-
probably already watching us, anyways.
I'm just gonna keep looking at him, give him a hard
And
stare.
Irina comes in. Yes, we have to kill Strahd if we want the clouds to go away. We need not to be scared of saying his name, because if we do that, then we have already lost.
She's got a point.
Understand this. I'm not afraid. You just don't want to give away any advantage you can get.
See? She's being careful, like I said. Yes, brother, I know, but fine. You go ahead
Listen,
prancing around the point. That's fine.
I'll slam my mug down. Listen. I will
Oh,
help
she
you.
bad.
Of course I will help you. First we need sleep, and then I have several questions. But of course I will help you.
I could use the sleep too.
Well, if you would like, we can head back to our place and we can
Not
ready
yet.
the beds. Not yet.
Let-
Sure.
No.
Once he has his bird, we'll go. We'll get some rest.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I'll be willing to join you and see what this new town maybe offers.
Great.
But after that, I don't know.
Adventure.
Can we
We need to take care of
can
your
we
friend.
get some water, please? Like look over at the robot behind the bar. Like, do you have any water?
No, he just looks at you. He has a mug in his hand, places it down, grabs a clean one,
Does he seem
pours water.
He seems
Okay.
like a
I'll
friendly
walk
guy.
up and grab it and give it
Do an
to
insight check.
Estella.
Oh, bless you.
This guy looks like he's great at parties.
rolling?
We're serving
Great.
drinks.
You can tell that. I mean, obviously something is off. You can
Right.
definitely tell just by looking at him that he's not speaking. He's not conversing in any way with anybody else, like not even like reaction to anybody other than when you want to drink, it seems.
As Katya goes over to grab the water and stuff, I'm gonna slowly excuse myself. Excuse me. And I'll walk over to the bar and I'll sit down while Johans is finishing his casting. And I'll sit down. If is it like a bar, like normal bar where I could sit down? Cool. I'm gonna sit down at one of the front chairs, keeping my hood down and my bandages up. And I'll just ask for water to,
Places the cup down, pours the water, places it in front of you, and then just continues staring past you.
And I kind of look behind me at seeing what he's looking at. Anything.
Nope, just at the front door.
What's your name?
No response.
That's just
Places the mug down, grabs another one that he had already cleaned.
I kind of just hold my drink, never drink it, walk back over to the table with everybody else.
Sure. Well, whenever you're done, Johans, we can head to... I don't know if I ever got your name. Never mind. Whenever you're done, we can go over to our manor and get beds ready.
What's the barkeep's name?
Oh, Attic.
What's his deal?
He just... Yeah, that's how he is. He's never really been the life of the party. He earned this tavern from his father, and his father was a very lively person, but Eric just never was.
Have you ever heard him speak?
I've only seen it a few times when his father was still alive, but it was rare.
When we're talking to the old lady outside, she mentioned how curses are aplenty here.
I don't know if it's a curse or... Not entirely sure. Honestly. There are people that tend to act like that, though.
That's the usual in this place?
Not the usual, but it does happen quite often. A lot more often than you would hope.
given the opportunity, I want to reach out and speak into the barkeep's mind
Okay.
and just be like, hello, are you there?
No answer.
I use my telepathy to inform Grimm that there is either nothing up there or there's just no language in common between the two of us.
I look over to...
You connect, but it
So
just
there-
doesn't seem like there's any response.
So there's nothing up there, effectively. Because I can communicate only with people who I
Right.
share a language with.
Sure.
Which means that this person knows to communicate, just doesn't communicate.
Right. It looks the same way as when Grimm came up to him and started talking to him. He didn't say anything. It seems to be the same effect.
Okay. In that case, when I communicate that and imply that, maybe it's like, it's not like he's trapped in his own mind, or at least it doesn't seem that way based on...
Right. He didn't respond in his own mind as well. You're right.
Yeah.
I just look over to Hans and I kind of shake my head.
And then, since if nobody else has anything, we can just speed run up to
Sure.
Luna's arrival.
Sure.
If we're walking to the manor now, is that what's going on?
We're finishing up Johan's ritual cast of Find Familiar. So you're still in the tavern, if that's where you want to be. If not, we can...
I had something that I want to do as we're walking to the manor. So.
As you're walking.
I also have one of those, but I'm done in the tavern.
Okay.
I also technically have one of those, but I'm done with the tavern.
Awesome. So we're done with the tavern.
Yeah, Estella just adjusts her equipment, and she's like, "Okay,
Sure.
take me to bed."
Why don't here? If you will, I would be willing to help you get going. And he is going to, if you're willing, grab your arm and put it around his shoulder to kind of like, not firefighter carry, but what's the word? Just kind of like
Side
just
carry.
like help. Yeah, just like help out.
Sure, you're nice.
Yes. Okay. And as you begin making your way through the village, you come to... Let's move back to the streets. You exit the door, and the moaning of sobs float through the air still. And you find, as you make your way just in front of a dark 2-story townhouse, that the sobs are most definitely coming from this home. However, you continue going forward, and it's open for any RP moment that you would like to do.
I wanted to.
Go ahead.
I
You go.
wanted to go up to the lady. I don't remember her name. And just kind of quietly
Irina,
ask
yeah.
her
Granny.
question. Irina. No, not Granny.
Oh,
Irina.
The sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just kind of want to go up side to her. I'm not making eye contact, just kind of staring off ahead.
Sure. You're playing it cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to be like, so are we the first adventurers to come here for a while? Does that happen a lot?
No. Well, it doesn't happen often, but it has happened before, yes.
Was there, by chance, a group of people who showed up maybe not too long before we did?
Not that I know of, no.
If she just goes
Wh-
silent, she's gonna... Oh, wait.
What are you... Who are these people?
I was
Maybe
with a
we
group.
can keep an eye out when we're traveling.
I was a part of a group that we were coming to Barovia under a contract, but I lost them in the mist before I've met these group.
Oh.
And, you know, looking back at the group and everybody.
hi.
And since you said that there's no way out of Barovia, I've been kind of thinking about where they might be.
Well, if you lost them in the mist, perhaps they were as lucky as you to get out of it, but I've only heard that the mist... Well, people don't come back from it often. If ever. I'm sorry to be the one that brings that up, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we will find them while we travel to Valakai.
At this point, I'm gonna look her in the eyes now. It's like, they are a group, mighty group of soldiers. They're out there, and I'd like you to keep your eyes out.
Absolutely.
And then I'm gonna just kind of turn around and go back to walking beside.
Sure. And
While
you
we're
continue
walking, I'm going to grab the back of Blaire's outfit like I usually do, and I'm going to send Luna to fly above us. Well, just far enough that I can see everything, like the party.
Sure. Oh,
but
yeah, you're going...
keeping an
Got it.
eye-
Okay.
I'm just keeping an eye
yeah.
out, just sensory, like.
Sure. Yeah, you're just kind of like following, walking, and all that
Right,
stuff.
because I'm
Sounds
looking
good.
through the eyes.
Cool.
stuff.
I want to take Grimm aside as we're walking, and I'm gonna tell him, I must apologize for earlier. I did not mean to leave you in front of that monster.
Oh, it's
It was a moment of weakness.
It was
It won't happen again. I'm sorry.
It's fine. I understand. I should have acted faster. I should have. You got me out of the way. If only
No.
I wasn't like.
I
I was shocked myself. So
There was a lot happening, but I should have stayed until I knew you were safe. I did not mean to escape so quickly.
it's like I said. You're just. It seems more used to maybe battle than I am. I think maybe with. I mean, God, goodness forbid. Hopefully, we don't have much of that. But
Hopefully not, but
if it does happen,
if it does, I promise I'll be in front. And then I'll just keep walking along.
Before you go away, I kind of look forward.
I'm not like leaving you, but I'm just like,
She's running.
I'm just
She
like-
just bolts.
Yeah, I
Okay, cool.
sprint, but
So
I'm
as we're just walking, I look towards Johans and Blaire and Estella, who's being helped. Like, what are your thoughts on this group? They're all interesting people.
interesting is certainly a word for this group, but it seems like they have good hearts.
We fought a baby.
You hear Ismark is like, what?
There's a little.
You did. I'm sorry.
It was a monster. I'll tell you all about it.
Okay. Well, that is interesting. Okay. And
I
just
like-
continues walking. Like just like, all right, we're gonna unpack this later.
I point up to Johans. It's like that thing he's doing there. He's like piggyback riding on the back of Blaire, and look up to the owl. Seems like it's an interesting ability he has to see through the eyes of that creature.
I've never seen anything like that. It's certainly something to behold, for sure.
I mean, honestly, it looks kind of tough what he's doing there, like trying to keep a hold of her. Like maybe if he keeps doing something like this, maybe we need to get like some kind of sling or backpack for him or something.
Like a baby Bjorn. It's like how you how you would carry, like how a mother carries her child along the.
I mean, I don't have much
need
experience
family.
with children.
I'm sorry,
that I know of, at least. I don't know.
I'm sorry, Grimm. I did not mean to touch on a nerve.
It's fine.
In some
They're-
cultures, mothers will carry their babies along their chest and to ensure their safety.
Well, it's neither here nor there.
So, as you finally come to the mansion at the end of this road, you see this wary-looking mansion squats behind a rusting iron fence. The iron gates are twisted and torn. The right gate lies cast aside, while the left just swings lazily in the wind. The stuttering squeal and clang of the gate repeats with mindless precision in the wind. Weeds choke the grounds and press this menace upon the house itself. Yet, against the walls, the growth has been tramped down to create a path all about the domain. Heavy claw markings have stripped the once beautiful finish of the walls, and great black marks tell of fires that have assailed the mansion. Not a pane nor a shard of glass stands in any window. All windows are barred with planks, and each one marked with stains of evil omen. As you come to the precipice of this mansion, Irina, since Ismark is helping Estella, Irina opens the door and lets you all in. You find the interior of this mansion is well furnished, yet the fixtures show signs of great wear. Noticeable oddities are the boarded up windows that you had seen on the outside, and the presence of holy symbols in every room. The burgomaster, Ismark, not the burgomaster Ismark. You see the burgomaster is in a side room lying in a simple wooden coffin, surrounded by wilting flowers and a faint odor of decay. No doubt the father that they had been speaking of before for the burial that they were hoping for tomorrow morning. As you all enter, you are brought into a well-appointed yet worn-down living room where you see a hearth that had been once on fire, but now you see the coals of the wood that they had used, and Ismark places Estella onto the couch and begins readying another fire. But you all stand in the living room, and what would you like to do?
First, I'm sliding this big heavy backpack off, and then my shield, and then the belt with the weapons. Okay, I take a nap now.
And you just clonk out on the couch. Yeah, I was imagining that would happen. Well, welcome to our home. I can go. I'm gonna get a fire ready. Irina, would you mind showing our guests to the room upstairs? And Irina looks. Yeah, no, that's a great idea. Why don't all of you stay here? Ismark, why don't we sleep in Father's room and then we let them sleep in ours in the guest room? Sure, that's fine. And he continues getting the fire ready. Irina makes her way up the stairs. Sure. You follow Irina up.
Grab Estella by the arm and kind of yank her over the couch with let's find a bed.
I'll help her.
Okay.
I'll grab the other
Sure.
side.
I kind of just stand in the middle of this room, kind of just arms crossed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just having flashbacks to a earlier today.
Yeah.
Going right into another manor.
If we see any wolves, we're gonna.
I'll pick up Estella's equipment that she dropped.
Sure.
And I kind of start looking at the shield.
Gorgeous illustration of a silhouetted nude drowned woman with flowing silver locks and holding this long broadsword up into the air, like in a sort of a dancer ballerina position, but just framed immaculately behind what looks like a moon to you. Like as you kind of see the sheen on it, it gives off like a silvery aura.
And
So
another cool thing about the shield itself is that the shield is shaped like a crescent moon as well.
If only there was
So
some
it looks
character
really
art to
sweet.
show that.
Oh yeah.
Hey!
So the character sheet up on there, that way everybody can see it.
I pick up her bag, sling it over my shoulder. I reach down, pick up the shield. I kind of hold it between both of my hands here, kind of just inspecting it. I kind of try it on for a second just to admire it.
It's heavy.
It's
But
Mark.
it covers like half your body. It's like a full-on Spartan shield just carved into the crescent.
I kind of just keep it in my arm to help carry it as I kind of struggle up the stairs with all your equipment. That's definitely on the verge of too heavy for me as I kind of slowly make my way up.
Ismark kind of takes a look at you putting on that shield, and that thing looks a little heavy for you. My father has an old one. We can bring it with, and you can use it since you're helping us get the Valakai, if you'd like.
Sure. I think that'd be great. Thank you.
Of course. Well, it looks like it's just you and me down here. I'm gonna continue getting the fire ready. And he just turns around and starts doing that.
And I will walk up the stairs as I
Sure.
try to set it down next to wherever they're taking her.
So, as you all make your way up to the second floor, Irina's kind of going into each room and saying, "This is the guest room. It is a small bed, but one of you can take that, and maybe someone on the floor. And this is my room. Again, a smaller bed, but you are welcome to that. I will just gather a few things in a second, and this one's Ismark's room. You can take this one as well. The one at the end is my father's old room. Ismark and I will take that one.
What happened to your father? Is it just natural causes?
Well, he suffered.
I don't mean to pry. I apologize.
No,
I'm
it
sorry.
it is okay. It helps to speak of it. It's just still raw, but he died of a heart attack.
Oh.
I think that with the devil coming to our house every night for the past few weeks had gotten to him.
Excuse
Mr.
me?
S was here?
Yes,
Oh.
multiple times. He was like Ismark said, he is some sort of weird focus on me.
So will we be expecting him tonight, you think?
I would very much hope not.
What exactly happens in these visits?
I don't know. Visits are muddled in my head. I know that she shivers. I see hunger in the eyes. That I do not wish to speak of, but
Well, thank
anything
you.
else we can speak of.
Hey, Katya. Listen, there's a cool thing about elves, or, drow people with the big pointy ears. If you want to take, like, a watch or something, if I can just get 4 hours sleep, I'll be okay. I just really need to lie down, because my chest hurts.
You absolutely need to lie down.
Here,
Take as much
have her
rest
take my
as you
bed.
need.
And she just
Thank
kind of brings
you.
you over, and you clock out. Now you were done. Yep. Estella is out for the count. Well, now that she's asleep, that is one thing off the list.
I just wanted
I'll
to
take
thank
the guest
you.
room for myself.
Say it again, Johans.
I'll take the guest room for myself. That's what
Sure.
I said. And I'm gonna go inside. I'm gonna start transcribing.
Sure. Grimm?
I just wanted to thank you,
You-
once again for your hospitality. Just
Of course.
no, it must not be.
And
Probably
you can
common
take your
here.
cloak off. It's you are in a safe place. There is no rain. It is okay if you don't. I understand.
I've
No
just
worries.
had poor experiences with
Sure.
how people react to me.
Well, I understand. Yes, of course. It is our pleasure, especially that you have said that you would help. We are more than happy to help you in providing a night stay. I will gather a few things and feel free. Go ahead and make yourselves at home. And if there is anything you need, I will just be here. And she just
Thank
begins
you.
bringing things into their father's room.
I
So-
will.
Go ahead.
Well, I'll watch Katya first, seeing what she does, for sleeping arrangements and Blaire.
I'll look at him and Blaire and I'll say, you two go to bed. I'll take the watch. Estella will come relieve me and I'll get some rest.
As you say that, Luna walks up to you and looks at you
Right.
like, I'm on watch.
And you're supposed to watch while he's asleep? I look down at Luna. I'm talking directly to the bird.
I don't know bird sounds, but
I stare at the bird for a sec, and then I shrug and I say, all right, well, I'll go room with Estella then. And I turn around and go inside the room.
I'm going to, Are they within 30 feet of me?
I would imagine.
Who?
We're not-
Everybody?
Grimm specifically is one.
Yeah. No, everybody. I mean, the top part of this mansion is probably about like it's 30 feet in radius, so you can easily be within 30 feet of anybody.
I'm gonna reach into Grimm, towards Grimm, and just be like, over in the guest room. Come here. Come here.
So Katya goes to Estella's room. I'm standing in the hallway, looking at Luna, and is Blaire there also still?
Yeah.
So, well, Blaire, what are your plans for?
Well, I have a bedroll. I can take the ground. I mean, you look like you haven't slept in bed in months, so.
I can't say one way or the other, but I don't feel tired. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't. When you guys were eating, I didn't feel hungry. When I was holding some of that water earlier, it didn't taste like anything.
I
don't
would
know.
say, we went through, dare I say, some trauma, so you might be a little shocked.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about that. Things seem numb for a little bit of time, but they'll slowly come back.
Yeah, I guess time will tell, won't it? Well, best get some sleep. Sounds like we're gonna have quite the journey tomorrow.
You gonna stay with Johans? He's a squishy wizard. He could use some protection.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I got the fire going if anybody wants it. You hear Ismark from below.
Say, thank you. Alright, well, I guess I'll see you in the morning. And I'll kind of walk over to Johan's door and I'll knock on the door.
Come in.
And then I walk into the other room and lay down on the bed.
Sure. Going into Ismark's.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'll open the door and I'll go into Johan's. It's like, what's going on?
Is there? I'm assuming there's a desk in here, right? Like a little work table.
You're in the guest room? Yeah. It's a small desk, but yeah.
So you see him in the process of, he has a yellow book in front of him open to a particular page, which by the way, I'm doing disguise self. I'm
Okay.
passing it onto my actual spellbook.
Oh.
Just grabbing it.
Got it. Okay, you got it. Okay.
From the yellow old.
Got it. Yep.
I
You're
thought
good.
you were saying you were disguised self.
I thought you were
this whole time.
casting disguise self on yourself. I was
No,
like, that's
I
a
can't.
way to
Whoa.
do it. Okay.
Okay.
No.
I get you.
So it has an open yellow book propped up against the wall, or like if there's a mirror or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's like going through the motions, and he gestures for Grimm to sit down next to him if possible. And he goes, well, "What do you think of this place? What are your thoughts?"
Walk over there. I'll undo my hood as I kind of enter the room a little bit more.
I imagine you're probably closing the door behind you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Okay, I just want to make sure.
I'll pull up a chair, and I'll sit down next to Johan's. Well, they seem like nice people. But as you said earlier, who knows what is real? I mean, we already were fooled once.
That's why I have Luna outside. She'll keep watch overnight. She'll screech really loud if anything happens.
I honestly, I was just talking to Blaire. I'll probably be awake. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get any sleep, even if I tried. I don't know.
Well, in that case, here, and he gives you the meat pie, hidrangi. Can you dig into this and see what type of meat that is, please? Thank you.
I'll look at it. And does it look like maybe wolf meat? Or, I mean, I don't know.
Go ahead and do.
I'm not.
Sure does look like meat.
I'm not putting it in my mouth.
Right. I'm thinking
Good though.
maybe survival.
Ooh, idea. I'm gonna use my. I never. I don't have any past knowledge left anymore. We haven't stopped yet. For flavor though, I still want to use it.
Sure.
Wow.
You're really gonna make me come up with some vision of you looking through a pie at some point?
No,
okay.
no. Of like tracking is my idea of
Got it. Okay.
I mean,
why I would
meats
know.
have different textures based on what.
Sure.
Right?
So you do kind of have a flash, and you see yourself going through a forest. No mist, thankfully, but you see yourself going through the forest. You feel your breath kind of light, trying to stay quiet. And as you lean from the side of a tree, you see a deer just on the other side. Take out a bow and arrow, knocking it. As you release, your vision goes away, and you're looking back at this pie.
I don't know how I know this, but it's deer, and I know that.
Sweet. And I'm just gonna take a chunk and just start eating it as I continue to transcribe.
I'm kind of just sitting there, like, just in awe, like in confusion of what just happened again.
Oh, sorry. I wanted to make sure that this wasn't bad food.
No, it's not that. It's just, it was like I was somewhere else for a second. It was
Like a vision?
I guess, yeah.
Was it of somebody else? Or?
It seemed like it.
Mm-hmm.
It happened earlier too when we're inside the that crypt area.
Interesting. Tell me more.
I was leaping and I was falling. That's when I think I slipped and me and Katya fell on that podium. I don't know what it is, but like it was a vision just like what I just had now. I don't know. Is it good at least?
Was it?
Is the pie good at least? Looks like you're chowing down now.
Actually really good, yes.
That's pretty good.
The best pie I've ever had. Only pie I've ever had, but it's good. You're into magic too, right?
I mean, you know about as much as I do, Johans. Clearly,
That's debatable.
there's... Well... I think you
Sorry.
know what I was... I think you know what I was trying to say.
I mean about your own magic.
Yeah, about my magic, yes. You 100% know way more about... I can't begin to count how many things you can do that I have no understanding of what... Like that, the fact that you can communicate with Luna, that's... I don't understand that, but that's another conversation.
We share
I feel
a
like.
special bond. You know how sometimes you have like a thing and it matters so much to you that it just like the most important thing, and you feel wrong without it, and it helps you stay calm just to have it there, even if it's not necessarily doing anything. That's Luna to me.
I wish I could say that I knew that feeling, but...
Well, you can meet Luna if you want to. She can be your comfort animal too. That's fine. I don't mind.
As you're talking, on the first floor, your knock at the door. All of you that have your doors open see Irina just freeze. She puts her things down and then begins silently making her way down the stairs. Does anybody follow?
I command Luna to follow and I start looking through her.
Okay.
I see visually Johan just go down. And then, is there a window in this room?
In this room, there is, yeah.
They're boarded up, though, right?
They are boarded up.
Can I... Are they, like, solidly 100% boarded up? Okay.
I mean, there might be, like, a little crack that you could see through, but it would be really tough to see anything through it.
Man, this is interrupting my brain time.
I will see that. I'll stand up. I will put the cloak on, like, over my head again, and I'll try to creep to the top of the stairs. And is there a way I can kind of look down, but kind of stay, like, around the corner?
Sure. Yeah, it, like, curves around, so you can, like, stand at the, like, the edge of it looking down. Is anybody else coming?
I'm gonna follow up behind him with my halberd. I'm gonna let him look, but I'm gonna be there, kind of.
Okay.
This is the sneakiest of halberds.
So, as you all begin to... Yeah, you're knocked out. So, as you all begin to descend the stairs a little bit, checking out and seeing what's happening, you see Ismark and Irina just kind of standing right next to each other, and he looks up. Everybody ready yourselves. We weren't expecting visitors. And then he walks up to the front door, slowly opens it.
About how far away are we from the top of the stairs where we're kind of stashed?
In terms of like where the room is, or where you're standing on the stairs?
From where we're standing on the top of the stairs, around the corner, peeking over, how far are we from the door? Just
about maybe like 15 feet max.
Okay.
So the way that it works is like the door is here. Actually,
Right.
We'll do it your way. Door is here, and it goes into the hall where you have the left-hand room with the burgomaster and the coffin, the right-hand room where the living room is, and the stairs go directly up and then turn around towards the rooms on this side.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So you guys are kind of at the top where there's like a small wall where you're kind of looking directly under, and it's tough for the person at the door to be able to see you, but you're nonetheless standing right there, right next to the stairway, nothing impeding your movement if you were to try to get down.
Got it.
I closed my door. I wouldn't be able to hear any of this, right?
If there is something above, like a chandelier, I'm going to have Luna quietly fly up to it.
There is no chandelier. Not in this hall, at least.
In the entrance hall, there's none?
No chandelier in the entrance hall, no.
Cool.
But
I'll just have
there's
it-
2 rooms on the side if you wanted.
I want to see what's happening, so I'll just
Sure.
let her, like, whatever she can see the most of the room and whatever's happening.
Sure. So, Ismark goes to the door and cracks it open, looking on the other side of the door. And you see... Okay. It's okay. Everyone, it's just Mary. Mary, it's getting late. What can I do for you? And you hear on the other end, my daughter Gertruda, she's gone. I don't know where she went. I understand, but he looks back towards everybody. I will speak with my guests. I have people over.
I'll step out
And
slowly.
are you coming? He has the door not really like open, so she can't really see past you anyways.
Right.
But
No, but I'll kind of step out as he kind of says I have guests. I'll slowly kind of just walk around the corner.
Sure.
Staying at the top of the stairs, but being present.
Listen, Mary, it's already getting dark outside, and it's not even safe for you to be coming over here or wandering about. Why don't you return home, get some sleep, if you can, and maybe she'll return tomorrow. I feel so helpless. I don't know. Johans.
The moment that I see that the others are there, I'm just gonna tell Luna to stick close to them and give them any help they might need, and then I'm just gonna get out of there and continue transcribing.
Sure. Okay. Fine. Plus, I'm sorry to bother you on the day of your father's death. My deepest regards. You see Ismark nod. Don't worry. We will come tomorrow morning just to check. Okay, I will wait till then. Please, please, please come and check. It would mean a lot to me. Yes, we will. Have a good night, Mary. And he closes the door. He turns around. Whew, okay, well, hopefully there's no more visitors tonight. Anyways, it's getting late. Please, return to your rooms. I will call out if there's anything else that happens. Thank you for having my back, though. I appreciate that. It's good to see that we have a good bunch here.
Not a problem.
So, you all return to your rooms, and we are going to take a break. We're gonna run our giveaway. So, anybody in the chat can join this giveaway. We are giving away a purple colored outline of the party. It's a sticker. So, if anybody wants to join in on that, there you go.
Yay, gorgeous.
Sabrina's showing that.
Look at that.
So we're going to be giving one of those away. There is a keyword to join. It is ! Barovia. And people that are subscribers can get an additional 2 entries. So consider subscribing now if you would like before the giveaway so that you can get more entries to join. But anyways, we are going to go on break. We will see when we get back and see what other mysteries this village will hold.
Still alive!
We'll be right
See
back.
you soon.
The games we play are the stories we create.
The fortress doors swing open,
Every story is unique.
and the sound of war drums rises.
Sometimes our stories come to us when we least expect them. We need to be ready no matter where inspiration strikes. And sometimes our stories are told over great distances. No matter where your journey leads you or how your story is told. The games we play are the stories we create. Sirenscape can help make yours epic.
Sirenscape is searchable, fast, and customizable from any device with no need to pre-install any sound. Adding epic atmosphere to your game has never been easier.
Skull Splitter Dice has something for every adventurer. The dice that you use could be the difference between life or death. With over 15 styles of metal dice, a variety of class-based cases, and other gaming accessories, we have something for every gamer. Our products are perfect for Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, and more. Be the envy of your party and get yours while supplies last by going to skullsplitterdice.com. Again, that's skullsplitterdice.com.
So I just want to start by saying I'm just going to read off the description of the spell Finger of Death because this is important to what I'm going to do.
That's also good to know, yes.
So Finger of Death, you send negative energy coursing through a creature that you can see within range, causing it searing pain. Okay, this is the key part of my wish. You see, I'm going to wish for a mirror. Okay, I'm going to wish for a mirror. I'm going to put it right in front of me and my partner at the same moment when Vecna has already cast this spell, all right? So Who's the only person Vecna can see after this spell is cast? Well, that's Vecna. So Vecna's gonna finger of death himself. Boom.
He's gonna finger himself.
That's right. To death.
I was holding it back. Okay.
All right. All right, we are back. And, well, you know what? Fire Ice. Congratulations for winning the giveaway.
Yay!
The only person that joined in.
Hooray!
There you go. We're picking the winner, and let's see who won. Oh! Fire Ice 124. Well,
Hey, look
go
at
ahead and
that.
follow that
So
that
lucky.
link there. Let us know if you have any problems. Go ahead and send us a whisper on Twitch. We'll try and sort it all out, and we'll make sure that you get the prize that you won. So, getting back into it. You all decide to take a long rest, and you all successfully do. Johannes, you have something
finish my
before?
transcription first. Yeah.
Okay, of course.
Go
Also,
to sleep.
I'm gonna.
Sweet.
I'll
so
check
that
back
gets
in
me
with
just-
Johannes again as we go upstairs once more. So, well, if you don't need me up here, I think I'm gonna stay in the den downstairs by the fire.
Okay. If you need company, you can take Luna.
Okay. Maybe I will. Thank you.
If you need anything, just let me know. I know
Thanks.
you probably. I just inferring from what I've seen, you seem to have a lot of questions. I don't have a lot of answers, but I know something about magic. Might be able to help you at least a little bit on that department if you ever need anything.
Well, sounds like we're gonna be having a 10-day journey in front of us. So
Plenty time
Well-
to talk. Plenty time to learn.
yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk some more another night. And I'll
Sounds good.
excuse myself, and I'll go downstairs. And I'll kind of nod at Luna, and I'll kind of just take a seat in one of the chairs. If there's like a wooden chair by the corner, I'll just sit in it, and I'll just kind of just take a deep breath and kind of just put my head in my hands a little bit and can just kind of decompress.
Yeah. And you said that you went downstairs?
Yeah.
Cool. Ismark is down there, and he's just kind of gathering a few things and sees you coming down and says, well, I'm going to head upstairs. Feel free to stay on the couch. Just let us know if anything happens. And thank you again for helping us. I really appreciate it.
I mean, like I said, don't mention it. Like, I'm more than happy to help in any way that I can as we journey there, but
I would like to mention it because help is not easy to come by in Barovia. So, thank you.
Well, thank you for your wishes. Like I said,
of course.
I'm not that I'm not against helping you. It seems like it's a good idea to get out of town in general.
Yeah. Well, sleep well. And
have a good night.
He begins making his way up the stairs. Katya?
Once, this probably happened like in-game a long time ago, because like as soon as she closed the door and everything settled down, Katya's gonna push a dresser or a bookcase or something in front of the door to like barricade it, and then she's just gonna like curl up in the corner with her sword drawn until she falls asleep, but like sitting upright.
That's so sad. In a way.
Blaire, it's funny you mentioned that, because right as you're kind of getting to sleep, it's been a while, it's been quiet for a little bit, you hear a small little knock on your door.
On mine?
Yeah, very quiet knock.
I imagine I just like jolt up, and I'm like, well, like sword pointed, and then I realize like nobody's. Thank God no one's looking at me, and then they very like open the door a little bit. Like, hello.
Hi. I'm like looking at the ground. I have my bedroll in my hand. Can I come in?
I won't say anything. I'll just open the door and gesture her in. Oh, I guess I would have had to.
Yeah.
Move the dresser out of the way, and then I'll.
And I think that at that point when that happened, Irina was probably gathering some things, and you just hear on the other side of the door, and she just like stops, looks towards the door, and whatever, and then just continues doing her thing.
I'll like quietly. I won't say anything. I'll just let her in and smile a little bit and like, come on in, and close the door behind her.
Silently just lay out my bedroll. I'm looking at the ground. I don't want to make eye contact, and I just I lay down to go to sleep.
I won't pester anything, and then push it all the way back, and then I'll climb back into my corner. And
this time Ismark is returning from when talking to Grimm, and he does the exact same thing. He's like whatever, and just keeps going. Sure. So you all find a nice sleep. Let's change the... Here we are. So, as you all bed down for sleep, Blaire, you begin to see visions of your past in your dreams. They become real in front of you. You find yourself sitting at a campfire with your order, sparring with your friends, camping underneath the stars. You come to a surreal vision with your commanding officer, Roland, sitting and sharpening his blade in his tent, as you just next to him ready your halberd for a practice round. You look over to him and he looks up from his work, smiles, then continues working in silence. You relish in the silence, being with him once again, and feel happy. Estella, as you finally clock out on the bed, you doze off into your trance, and you're taken back to your home, the place of dance, of learning, and of friendship. You're filled with joy to be reunited with your friends again. You come to where you had once studied and worshipped Elistray to find your mentor again. As they kneel at the shrine to Elistray, they finish their prayer and turn to see you. They invite you to kneel just next to them at the altar. And you excitedly pull out your worship book to find that everything is filled. Your life's work is complete. You are filled with joy. And you place it down and begin to silently pray next to your mentor again. Johans, as you finally find sleep, your dreams are filled with moving people and jovial music. You're taken back to the tavern, where you had spent many years of your life. You sit at your usual spot, where you see your friend, passing drinks, freshly cooked food, all to the patrons of the tavern. She turns, seeing you sitting at the table, smiles, gives a slight nod, and then continues working around the tavern. You look down, see you're reading a book, and you finish it, feeling content. Katya, as you bed down for the night, your consciousness fades, and you find yourself seated on the balcony of your old home. You gaze at the breathtaking view offered from your father's favorite spot, and notice just next to you in the chair, he's seated, looking at you. As you notice him, he puts up a smile, takes a deep breath, and takes in the horizon you're able to see. You feel content and happy, a feeling that's rare in your life. And then you all awaken. As you all awaken, Johans, Estella, Blaire, Katya, each of you feel like trash. Absolute garbage. I need all four of you to do a Constitution saving throw, please.
Oh, no.
17.
Okay.
That's not what I expected after all that.
Oh.
Okay. You feel as though happiness has been stolen from your body. You feel eternal sadness.
Rude. Ah.
One sec. Let me just... luckily, all of you pass. Even though with the feeling you look back and this must have been something from the pies that you had eaten, because there's nothing else that could have been. Anyways, you feel a specific want to eat it again, like it would bring you happiness, but all of you are able to shrug that off and understand that something was wrong with those pies. Something was off.
I'll murder her.
It's not especially new, if I'm being honest.
Grimm.
Mm-hmm.
As you lay down on the couch.
Nope, I'm not laying down. I'm completely sitting down this whole night.
You're seated. That's fine. But as you sit, your consciousness kind of slips as visions begin to fill your mind, similar to as before. Most too quickly to understand. However, your mind focuses on a vision that you had seen briefly in the Durst Manor's basement. You find yourself running out of a tree line of a dense forest, quickly approaching a cliffside. Rocks shift underneath your boots as you look down to find a ravine below you. You feel your chest breathing rapidly, and you turn back to the tree line, feeling the same feeling that you had felt running from that flesh monster. The feeling of prey running from its hunter. A moment passes and you catch your breath holding it, till you see a raven breaching the tree canopy, flying high above you, Anxiety rushes over your body once more. As you weigh your options, you look towards the raven, then back towards the ravine. And you finally jump. Feeling that same vision rushing over you. Wind passing past your face as you fall closer and closer towards the water. Just before impact, your vision goes black. You see bright white lights, nearly blinding you. They pull you from the darkness, and as your vision adjusts, you find yourself floating in the clouds. See the bright sun above you, warming your skin. You hear a thunder and storms below you, but you find calmness and comfort here. As you look around, you begin to hear a voice, omniscient, filling this area. Reaper, welcome back. And you feel your weightlessness cease. You breach the clouds just below you to find the land of Barovia, which you are tumbling quickly towards. And just before impact, you jolt awake, seated on the couch. It is morning, and all of you have leveled up.
Woo!
Level 3.
Ooh.
That's so cool.
So, as you all awaken in your own time, some of you feeling worse than others, you hear rustling in the master bedroom, the burgomaster's room. A few rustling noises, and then finally, Ismark silently comes out, sees that some of you are awake. Oh, good to see you.
I'm the last one to wake up.
Sure. You guys can enter into this RP moment as soon as you want. I would say that Ismark finally goes downstairs and sees that Grimm is awake, and perfect. You're awake. I have interesting things to show.
Yeah, you mentioned a shield too. Your father's shield.
Right. Here, let me go get that. And he goes back upstairs, bringing a shield down to you. It's a regular shield, nothing too fancy, but it'll do.
Thank you.
And as he comes downstairs once again, he brings out this paper and he lays it out onto the coffee table in front of you, and he says, "Look, it's a map. It's I didn't know that my father had this, but it shows all of Barovia. Oh. See," and he points out, "See, this is Valakai up here. And unfortunately, the road that leads to Valakai gets closer to Castle Ravenloft. But we will get further away. So that is the goal, at least. But anyways. All right, well, whenever your friends wake up, we can make our way to
This is
the church.
interesting. This will definitely come in handy as we make our trip in the next few days.
Yes, I think that it would help. Anyways.
Katya was boarding with Estella, right?
Correct, along with
All
Blaire.
three of us are in one room.
Okay, all the girls were in the same room.
Yeah.
Estella would give a big yawn, waking up like, "Oh, my back," and just kind of ponder why furniture is in front of the door. Usually if there's danger, something would wake her up, but she's like, okay, I'll just let this go. And
I imagine I'll have either woken up at that point, or the big yawn would wake me up because I'm a light sleeper. And I'd say I don't sleep well. It just makes me feel better.
Sure, no worries. And she'll just chant a silent, chant a small prayer under her breath, I am the light is with me, I am the light is with me. And she's gearing up and putting everything back on, and she'll leave her bag upstairs for the moment. I'll see if there's coffee or something for everyone. And
sure.
Yeah. As you come downstairs, you see that Irina is currently making both coffee and food for everybody. Food meaning, by the blandest terms, a soup made of vegetables and mystery meat.
Oh, Illustrate, bless you for that. Thank you.
Oh, yes, of course. I figured that everybody would be waking up here pretty soon, and we would be on our way to the church.
Is
I'll
there
sort of-
anything that we can do to help with your...
Oh, please, no. You are already helping enough by guiding us to Velakai. So
Last night, you had a friend, neighbor, come over.
Oh, yes, Mary. I'm going to stop by her house. She said that her daughter, Gertruda, was missing, but I don't know. Mary is the boy who cried wolf, so I'm not exactly sure if something actually happened or not. I'm not sure, but I will stop by. No need for you guys to get involved if you don't want to, but I think that it is at least my duty as the new burgomaster of this village to at least try to take care of them before I leave.
Well, I'm sure they appreciate it. Even if some of them may not show it, I'm sure. Deep down, they do.
Sure. Yeah.
At this point, you guys hear a door slam upstairs. And then really heavy footsteps. And a very tired Johans walks in and just goes, "Good morning."
You look very good. Good morning to you.
Looks like you were working all night.
Yes, I was doing that. Yes, it's a thing. It's the kind of thing that I gotta do. It's okay. Are we leaving today, or what are we doing?
That is the plan. We are hoping to bury my father today at the church. And then take off from there. And about that time, Irina enters into the living room, handing bowls of soup and bread to each person. This is for at least the start of the morning.
If Blaire somehow slept through Johans and moving the furniture out of the way, I'll jostle her awake.
Oh, I'm up with everybody.
Okay.
Sure.
I wasn't sure.
Blaire, you sounded like you wanted...
Yeah, to the DM. I have to remember, hold on.
Oh no!
Oh, so when you mentioned the pies, is that something that we know, or is that something you just mentioned?
You guys would know, I mean, deep down there's like, you look at the leftover pies and you're like, maybe I should take a bite. And then you like catch yourself, you're like, what the hell?
Nah.
So we are aware that it's the pies specifically.
You are aware that the pies, most likely, I mean, you only had wine and the pies yesterday. So probably not the wine, probably this mystery pie that some person just randomly gave you.
Okay, I don't want to be suspicious of all the foods.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought it was weird to meet such a positive character in this village.
Are you?
So that leads to a question I was going to ask. In character.
Yes.
So Blaire would want to ask, like, do you know anything about, I don't know, some lady named Granny? It's got pies.
Oh, yes. She brings pies around to people, but we've never partaken. We've always had our own food.
Hey, speaking of which, you guys aren't looking very good. Are you guys okay?
No.
Weird sleep. Didn't do my usual ritual, but maybe it was just something we ate.
It's hard to sleep
you
after
were
yesterday.
definitely hurt, Miss. You were not looking good, and yeah, I probably it's because of that as well.
No, that's what happens when you're a soldier. Oh, sorry. I was probably asleep when they met you. I'm Estella.
Oh, Ismark.
Nice to meet you. And
Speaking of which, I don't think I've actually gotten any of your names.
Apologies. I'm Katya.
Well, very nice to meet you.
My name's Blaire.
Blaire.
These guys been calling me Grimm.
Grimm. Interesting. And you, little one?
Oh,
Sorry, that was... I didn't mean anything by that.
It's okay. We both know who really holds the power here. My name is Johans.
Well, if that book is what I think it is, definitely.
It's more than what you think it is.
Well, all right. I'm glad to have you on our travel then.
And then Luna is just gonna get on the table and kind of walk up to him.
Sure.
Or to whichever one is talking.
Yeah. And he's gonna go up to her and be like, "And who are you?"
Aww.
She's gonna bite his fingers.
Okay, maybe not. Okay, that's noted. Noted.
Here,
okay.
and she'll offer.
Does
Got
not
it.
like it when people talk.
Noted.
badly.
Yeah,
All
here-
right.
Yeah, Estella would motion for Luna to come over, and she'll pull out some birdseed from her bag, from like the travel mix kind of stuff she's had.
Luna stays still, staring directly at this individual.
Listen, I apologize. I didn't mean anything by it. And he's like specifically looking to Luna, like, I didn't mean anything by it. I promise it will not happen again. I'm sorry.
She hoots softly, like snaps towards his fingers, and then goes to Estella.
Here you go.
Just like I am the one in charge here, sir.
Irina kind of comes in there and just be like,
I'm sure you'll find a nice mouse soon.
there you go, Ismark. You're just creating problems with the people that we just met. Just like you always do.
Yeah,
Irina, rub it in a little bit, please.
let's see. I was half awake yesterday, so there's a place you two need to go to. We also got to bury your dad, and there's a lady in town that needs help. Did I get all that?
Well, yes, basically.
Okay. So, priorities. How soon does your dad need to go to his final resting place?
Well, the road leads to the church, and on that way, we are able to... I will be speaking with Mary and seeing if there is anything that I can help her with.
Okay, so it's
and on the way...
It's on the way
Right.
thing. Alrighty. So, yeah.
So there's no need for any of you to be involved. I will just go up to her house and see what's up and go from there.
Did Iskamark give me the map to hold or look at for a while?
He didn't give you, but like he's like, here, we have this. Everybody can use it. Just ask, basically.
Cool.
Alright.
Yeah, he has it on his person.
In that moment, I would have asked, you mind if I just kind of take this for a moment and kind of take a look at it?
Yes, absolutely. This is something that we all need to at least know. And yes, everybody, the map, I have a map of Barovia. It's with Grimm currently, so feel free to take a look at that if you would like. Irina, would you mind coming with me? Let's bring Dad to the cart. And she kind of nods. Please finish your food. We will be right back in.
I'll lay the map on the table. I don't know. I'll sit next to Katya, and I'll kind of look at it. So, looks like we're going to this town here.
Okay, I'll take a look at it with him and go over it a bit.
There it is again.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you all agreed to an escort mission? Is that what I'm hearing?
No.
Yes.
Yes and no.
While we're just sitting here when everyone's talking, I'm gonna just pull out my spell books and start transcribing something else.
Gotta get in that magical homework.
The work of a wizard is never over.
Just to squeeze in as much time as I can whenever I can, because...
Well,
Nerd.
Estella,
Fair dues.
to put it simply, yes and no. We agreed to venture with them to this town here, Valiki. Is that how he said it, Katya?
Valakai. I say Valakai. A lot of people say Valaki.
I like
Potatoes,
that.
I like Valakai better.
I like it too.
Better.
Yeah. Valiki.
Which
Okay.
they said,
Valakai.
according to this, what they were saying, it's about 10 days to get from here to there. But I think maybe whatever's happening, we can maybe find maybe something else that's going on.
Yes, I think the
way out
redhead
of here.
said there's a people that knew fortune telling. That's a form of divination back where I'm from. Could help.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I mean, I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't know if I want to stay here in this place.
It would certainly be fortunate for us to find someone who can predict the future. If this is true.
I think our best way to
That's
figure
actually
out anything about this would be to keep going.
I agree.
That's actually a good question. And I have several questions. I'll turn to Irina. Right?
I was just about to say they were outside, but now
are?
is when they actually enter in. They say, "Well, the coffin is loaded onto the cart whenever we're ready to go."
Perfect. While I've got you here, a few questions, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Can
Can we do that while we're walking so that we can?
Yeah, let's
make
walk
sure
and
that
talk.
we're-
Let's walk and talk.
Sure.
We can take the last bit of here.
I
Here,
like
Lena.
Fine.
No.
I walk up next to her, and I'm like holding the map, and I say, "Where on this did you say that village was?"
Which village? The one that we are going to, or the one that we are in?
No, the one with the
Vistani?
what were they called? The other people?
Vistani.
Yeah.
Oh, the Vistani.
The
Yes,
Vistani.
the
Where are
encampment.
they at?
It's at Sirpul. And she points over towards. So just next to the Barovian village, if you go directly left, there is like a thing of water, and then like wagons.
Oh, the
it
little
looks like.
okay, those are
That's
wagons.
where it
is.
Got it.
Yeah. And she says that is actually a shortcut, and Ismark didn't want to go that way because he is still holding on to prejudices, even though I told him not to.
I've seen those.
Yes. So people here don't really take kindly to Vistani, but I don't know.
Oh, before we go, can I ask you for a favor?
Of course. Well, it depends on the favor, of course.
You're
but what?
you're fancy people, right?
I guess.
Would
Why?
you happen to have some the inks and parchments, preferably of the better quality?
I can go up and check our father's room.
That would be
Sure.
That would be great. That would benefit everybody in this group. Yes.
Okay, yeah, sure. And she
Hi.
makes her way up.
Johans, I still have some from my scribing days in my bag if you just need something.
Well, I need ink and parchment.
Yes, I usually carry that. I keep notes too.
But
Before
those are
I
for
would
your
be-
notes.
Well, I don't mind sharing. That's the idea.
The problem is I need like a lot of.
Irina comes down with like maybe a gold piece's worth of parchment. Says, "Does this work?"
For something. Thank you. And I take it, and then as we walk out, I try to stealthily put it on one of the tables because it's just not gonna. Did she bring me any ink at least?
She did. I mean, nothing that you
It's-
could
It's nothing useful
really
to
use.
me,
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna just give
The
it to
parchment you
Stella.
could probably use, but the ink itself.
I'll give the ink to Stella then.
Sure,
Here.
sure, sure.
Okay.
Since you right, there you go. I'll keep the $1.
If you need if you
gold.
hang on a moment, and she'll put her bag down, rumble through the bottom of it. I've got one well left of really nice ink from my master, and this book's has at least 5 full pages worth of parchment left. You should be able to use it for your spell booking if you wish. I've seen other mages use the similar quality.
10 gold pieces worth at least.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're off.
You'll have more use for it at the moment than me.
That is true. I mean, I don't know if that's true. But I'll take it.
You can at least scribble something while we're in the wagon. It's all
I
right.
don't scribble. That's for children. But thank you.
You know what I mean. And she puts everything back in the bag. And
He just keeps going with his haul.
trying
So
to be nice.
I got what exactly? Just
10
You've
gold
got
pieces
5
worth of transcribing possible.
okay. So if every
Stuff.
item, every ink and parchment items is 5 gold each, that would, or like together would be 5. So I have 3 of.
Sure.
I'm just
giving. You have
inventory.
supplies. You have supplies equaling out 10 gold pieces worth of anything that you would like to do with like a spell scroll or anything like that. I think it's like per spell level. I think it's 50 gold pieces. So you have a fifth of that currently.
Yeah, Estella basically gave you her starting equipment.
Man, this means nothing to me. Hold on.
You jerk.
So
okay,
so
fine.
as a wizard,
I mean, as in, I don't understand the amount given, so I need to
write
it down.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so as a wizard, each level of spell costs 50 gold pieces. So a first level spell is 50 gold pieces worth of parchment and ink, at least like fine parchment and ink.
Which means I just got 11 gold for
correct. Yes.
That on top of the already 50 that I had before.
Correct.
I had 2 levels and I already used 1 for this.
So you have 61 gold pieces worth of ink and parchment for scribing spells.
Fuck yeah.
Math.
Nice.
Estella.
Sweet.
You're welcome.
So, as you all make your way through the streets of the village, I know that is the one of the caveats of being a wizard. You get a lot of power, but you have to know all of the rules.
Man, I haven't done homework since like ever.
So,
making our way to Mary's house.
You guys are going down the main road that you had come by the first time. You see the dark and very worn down 2-story townhouse that you had heard the sobbing from before.
Do we have a cart?
And you do have a cart with one horse that looks relatively sickly, but nonetheless pulling the cart on its own.
I'm gonna sit in the cart and do the Luna scan.
Sure.
Aerial view thing.
There is a coffin in the cart, so it's kind of difficult to sit in, but
I'm small, it's okay.
Sure, yeah. I mean, your leg room is what I'm most worried about, is that you're not able to, like... You would be fine. You'd be able to sit straight, but everybody else would be kind of like in the very back of like an SUV where there's like the extra seats that nobody uses, and you have to bring your knees all the way up. That's kind of what you have to do here.
They can walk, it's fine.
I'll walk.
So, as you all walk through the streets of this village, you see Ismark stops the cart, and then he gets out and he says, "This will only, hopefully, be a minute, so just hold for 1 second."
Looking
Get
around,
ready for Death House 2, baby.
Does it?
He goes in and he just gets completely eaten by the door itself.
Looking around, does it seem like
fast.
there's more life going on during the daytime, or is it about the same?
Slightly, not very much more. You see a person or two that kind of stare at each of you, but it doesn't seem like there's very many people here, or that people stay indoors more than they go out. So, a few minutes pass, and Ismark goes into the house, comes back out. Well, it seems that her daughter is indeed missing, but there is a lot more than that we need to get taken care of. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to continue on. So.
Did she
Anyways.
say anything about it? Like, where
She said she doesn't know exactly where Gertrude went, but her window was open, and I think that she escaped it. And to be quite honest, the living conditions that she was keeping her daughter in were, to put it lightly, minimal.
That crying that we heard last night, was that Gertrude?
That was Mary. And you hear it again coming from the townhouse.
This is Witcher stuff.
This is gonna be such a needle in a haystack, but can I try to like look underneath her window for like tracks or footprints or anything?
You take a minute to walk away and go look. Okay, sure. Go ahead and do a survival check with advantage since Estella is helping.
Cool. 16.
So 16. You do find footprints leading away from the house, but they are quickly gone in the main road from all the other foot traffic, and this is broken cobblestone as well, so it's difficult to see any tracks, but you do indeed see that they are leading away from the house.
Okay. Which direction were they going?
It seemed like they were going towards the main road, so it would have been from the house, it would have gone west towards the main road, and then from there,
it gets muddled.
I'll swoop up behind both Estella and Katya.
Spooky.
Would you guys find something over here?
It looks like she took off, probably escaped toward the main road. And then I'm gonna walk back over and knock on Mary's door.
I'll look at Estella and I'll look back up to Death House. Well, at least it's at the main road and not there.
True, sure. But she could have gone anywhere. Without more of a lead, I'd have to side with Marcus, so we'll have to pick it up later.
So, you make your way over to Mary's home, knocking on the door. And you see her opening the door. How can I help you?
I'm sorry about your daughter. I can't promise I will find her, but it looks like her footprints lead off to the main road the same way we are going. We'll keep an eye out for her, but that's the best we can promise.
Do a persuasion check.
Why am I good at that? Okay. 19.
19. Good roll. She. Okay, yes. Let me know anything today if you find anything, okay?
We'll do our best. Take care.
Oh, here, hold on. And you hear her running up some stairs and then coming right back down. Here, this is her doll. And what you see is this malformed doll that has this strange presence. And it wears a sackcloth dress. This was mine, but I gave it to Gertruda to keep. Maybe this will help. I don't know. And
I'll take it and I'll say it can't hurt. I'll protect it. Don't worry.
Thank you.
I'll kind of stick it in a pocket or something.
Sure. As you hold it, you find hemmed into this dress a tag that bears the words "Is no fun, is no Blinsky." So,
okay.
Place that in your bag, and you return to the group. And Ismark brings the horses forward.
As Katya returns to the group, I'm gonna get out of. I'm assuming I saw the doll exchange. From above,
yeah.
And I'm gonna just reach out and be like, I can magic that. Gimme.
No, like be careful with it. It's pretty old. I'll hand it over.
I am very careful.
Be careful.
You hand it over. You grab it.
By now, Grimm and I have gotten back.
One of the arms kind of starts fraying because it's so old, and
I take it carefully.
Yes, then you carefully pick it up and.
Andy, no.
DM, you tell me if it's possible. But I'm riding on a cart.
Yes.
Would it be possible for me to ritual cast Identify while we're moving?
Yes. However, you can, from here, it's like a 2-minute ride to the church. So you would have to take more time in the cart in order to cast it now.
Poopy.
So it's up to you. You could stay in the cart, but if that's the case, you would be staying behind everybody would want to go into the church at that point. So it's up to you.
This is right speaking, but you could also cast it. You also have a short rest recovery.
No, the problem is it depends on my prepared spells, which I don't have my ritual prepared because I can cast them without.
Right.
Yeah. You can just wait until we get going on the road for the long run.
Yeah.
Just do it. It's okay. We'll track it down later.
Wait, hold on. Where's the church on the map, by the way?
The church on the map is at the very top left, the northwestern
Do we know
part
how
of
old the daughter
church.
is?
On the town.
How old the daughter
okay.
is?
We're still in town. I see.
Yeah, we're still.
You talked to Ismark, and
My bad.
she's
Then, yeah.
extremely young. I think she was maybe 12.
Yeah. I'll hold on.
I'm looking.
I thought we were going straight into the main road rather than going to the church first. I forgot that we were gonna.
Yeah, we got a funeral.
You're right in front
I'll
of a
do
dead
the
body
ritual
and you forgot we had to bury it.
Sure.
I was
Gertruda is extremely
distracted
young.
by the process of magic. Okay.
Right. Gertruda is young. Not exactly sure of her age to a point, but she is young.
Oh, did you ask for a photo of the child? Or like an image of some kind?
What is this photo?
I have that right here.
I don't know.
Did you
How
check
am I
her
going to know?
Instagram?
What is a
Sorry,
What's your
when you
Twitter
said
handle?
when you said photo, I was like, oh yeah, she just has a camera. I thought you were being facetious, but
No, it's like as an image that we can utilize to recognize
Ismark
the
would
child.
be like, no, there is no way that Mary doesn't have skill in artistry, unfortunately. So no, we do not have anything to go off of. But I know I have seen Gertruda before, so
Okay, that's enough. Yes. Okay.
hopefully that will help.
Do you know how to draw?
I do not know.
Johannes,
Irina,
it
do
can,
you
it
know?
can wait.
Well,
There are other pressing matters.
She kind of like, yeah, kind of, but not really.
Okay. My friend Stella here has some paper that she really wants to get rid of. I think you should totally draw us like at least not necessarily draw us a picture, but like describe her to us at least, so we know what to keep an eye out
I'll
for.
lean in next to Johans and I'll kind of whisper into his ear. Johans, they're trying to take their father to a funeral.
Yes, but there's also a missing child.
I thought you said yesterday that you didn't like children. Why are you so...
Yes, because I don't like to see mothers cry. If I have the opportunity, while we're walking around, I can have Luna keep an eye open for this child, I will do it. Because otherwise I'm useless until something goes down and I have to wibbly-wobbly my way out of a combat scenario.
Listen. If you find a child running, let us know and we will investigate. Right now, I don't want to go through the... I would like to focus on getting to the church.
Okay.
By all means.
I will. And I look through Luna again then.
Sure. So, you finally make your way to where the church is, and atop a slight rise against the roots of the pillar stone that supports Castle Ravenloft, you see stands a gray, sagging edifice of stone and wood. You see this church has obviously weathered the assaults of evil for centuries on end and is worn and weary. A bell tower rises toward the back, and flickering lights shine through the holes in the shingled roof. The rafters strain feebly against their load. And you can see that the heavy wooden doors of the church are covered with claw marks and scarred by fire. Let us move us to the church.
Look at Katya as we kind of approach. So I'll be
sure that we
sticking
have-
pretty close to her, I think, along this journey.
Sure.
Seems a lot of these houses and such are having a lot of claw marks all over them. Definitely doesn't look like it's made from small creatures either.
No, I was wondering about that myself. Been trying to ask what sort of things lurk out in the forest.
Well, hopefully we don't run into any of them.
Just stay on guard.
Ah, there you are.
As I slowly begin to get this map figured out.
Death Church.
You find that the church is on this slight, incline, and you find the wooden doors just in front of you. You see Ismark and Irina leaving the cart, opening the church doors, And 1 second while I finish this up. Done. All right. Now, we open up the church to everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody gets to see what's inside the church. All right. Let's move us into... The doors open to reveal a 10-foot wide, 20-foot long hall leading to a brightly lit chapel. The hall is unlit and reeks of mildew. 4 doors, 2 on each side of the hall, lead to adjacent chambers. You can see that the chapel is strewn with debris, and you hear the soft voice from within reciting a prayer. Suddenly, the prayer is blotted out by inhumane scream that rises from beneath the wooden floor. But you see kneeling at the altar a man. And
I was kidding.
As you enter into this church, you see him turn around. Hello, everybody. Ismark, it is good to see you. I imagine that you are here for your father's burial.
How are the siblings reacting to this? Is this
They are
normal
looking
or are they
around. They're
freaking
like-
out?
No, they don't know what the hell is going on.
Okay. So this definitely isn't normal.
Well, let us leave and enact this funeral then.
Oh,
And he begins
sorry.
making his way outside.
Yeah.
Is there anything that seems off about this guy? I mean, other than the weird scenario, like he seems.
Go ahead and do an insight check.
Okay.
I was gonna ask the same thing. Can
You
I
go
help
ahead
him?
and do
I
an
got
insight
a
check yourself as well.
17 insight
okay.
for Grimm.
I will have Luna help me. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Estella's distracted
11.
more by the sight of all of the broken debris around.
Sure,
Sure. General investigation for her, if you'd allow it.
What are you looking for
sorry.
exactly?
Well, I'm sorry. General perception, like, did something break out of here? Did something just smash around in a fit of
Sure.
rage? Like,
I'd like to do that too, but I'm just sort of watching for anything about to jump out at us.
oh wow.
So, Estella, go ahead and do a perception check.
There we go.
14. Okay.
That's better.
As you take a look around, it definitely looks like something had broken, not so much escaped. As you look around, I mean, obviously you can see all of the broken stuff. Go ahead and do a follow-up insight check, just to see if you can kind of get an idea as to what happened.
Vague.
There was obviously some sort of a struggle here. It's safe to say that whatever happened here was something that happened a while ago, and it just seems like they just never put the time to fix it again.
All right.
So,
she'll keep her thoughts to herself and follow the party.
17 insight. You can definitely tell that one of the things that you do notice that you spotted immediately was you heard screaming coming from below, and as that happened, there was a wince from the priest. But then he recovered and then tried to get you out as soon as he could, it seemed.
As he walks past me, because I was standing at the entrance of the church.
Sure.
I kind of wait for people to kind of walk past me if that seems to be what is happening, and I'm gonna try to slip inside.
I want to follow him too.
I'm gonna go with Grimm,
do a
if
stealth
possible.
check. Do a stealth check. I would say at this point,
Be hard
with
now with
3
everybody.
people doing it, yeah, it's going to be a little difficult. But do a stealth check, all 3 of you.
9.
Oof.
Nat 20.
Nat 20.
Stealth?
11. Unfortunately, with the average of
Unbelievably,
like
you guys.
probably like what 13 that would be, I don't know, something like that. 33 42 divided
42 divided by
good.
3
It's-
is
it's-
2
like
divided by 3 is pretty
Should be
pretty low.
42 total.
Here.
So,
I just rolled a natural 20 on my end for a perception check, and you see
Oh.
you see as the priest exits, he looks back to make sure that nobody is going into there, and as he sees you kind of starting to, please, I need all of you to help with the funeral. If you wouldn't mind.
I'm not really a funeral person. I was really hoping I could just sit inside and wait this out.
Do a persuasion check. Unfortunately, even with a 15, he's like, no, please, I insist. It is... I understand that you may not want to do the funeral, but it is better if we are all together.
What's going on here?
Nothing. Nothing.
See, I know you're lying.
You see him wince again.
What was that scream?
Please just come with me. Just leave it alone, please.
I'll walk inside.
No, please, just okay. Don't do anything to him. He's not doing anything. He's down there, and I'm hoping that something will fix him.
What
Yeah,
is
fix
wrong with
fix
this person?
what?
It is.
He's screaming, "Let me out!"
I know, but I cannot. He's changed. It is my son.
Into what?
They changed him. They made him into a monster. And I've been praying every day that they would, that the Morning Lord would help take care of him, but just leave him, please. He's not hurting anyone.
We don't mean any harm to anybody. I don't think. I think I can speak for all of us. I don't think any of us. If anything, we're concerned.
All right.
I promise.
Grimm, one thing at a time. Clearly, our benefactors for the moment need to take care of their personal business. If some of you want to stay here, that's your end. Just if His Holiness thinks the issue's contained, I'm sure it can wait half an hour for us to bury the loved one and come back and deal with it as a group.
Are you not concerned that there is a potential victim of some kind being
Yes, and I
tortured,
was
or-
concerned for the ghost children and their whatever became of their departed brother. But I realized running headfirst into danger was not the best plan. So if His Holiness thinks everything's under control, and from what I could see in the church, nothing broke out, then it can wait just a moment.
Please, yes, please.
One issue at a time.
Let us just have the funeral, and then we will talk after. Please. I'm begging you. Leave him be.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna.
Johan says that while he looks at Blaire and Grimm.
What kind of monster you keep saying he was turned into a monster. Just out with it. What happened to him?
A few months ago, people from our village were rallied by a mage that had come from the mists. He was one of the people that came to the castle hoping to kill the devil. He was one that perished, and we had all thought that he was dead until he returned. Not himself. They turned him into a vampire. I have him chained underneath the church in the undercroft until I can find some way to help him, because he is a danger to everyone around him. Please, just leave him be. I will find a way to cure him.
As I said, I don't think, like I said, anyone means any harm. You can understand our concern and our uneasiness when we come into your place and they're screaming.
I know. It is something that I have tried to drown out, but it is something that haunts me, even in my sleep. Just let us deal with, as your friend said, let us deal with the funeral, and we can talk more after.
If we can put one soul to rest and keep them from returning into an undead, then that's a small victory.
Yes.
Blaire moves her halberd in front of the door to kind of block Grimm from going in. Just like let's take care of this
I'm
first.
not looking like I'm going in.
But
period.
I thought you were
anymore.
by the door.
I mean I am, but I'm not. I'm focused on talking to him, and I'm kind of bowing my head respectfully. Like
Gotcha.
This whole time, like I was only going in there to see what the hell's going on. We know what's going on now. Like
okay.
Yeah, I do not look like I'm currently going in there.
Okay.
Cool. So, you all begin to follow as the cart enters the cemetery. As you exit this front area of the church and enter the cemetery, the cart stops, and you see Ismark and Irina silently grab shovels and begin to dig the grave, while Father Donovich, the priest that you had met, begins to mouth a prayer nearby. Rain falls heavily, making the ground slick with mud. They finally finish digging, and they each grab the ends of the coffin and gently lower it into the grave. They each stand back a few feet from the grave, and Ismark begins to say, "You are everything to me, Father. I know that I will never become as great of a leader as you, but I am thankful for everything that you taught me, and everything that you have done for me and for the people of your town. Your life was taken from you by a monster that we hope to escape, and I swear by you that I will do everything that I can to protect Irina. May you now rest in peace." He stands back. It's a moment of silence before Irina finally steps forward and begins speaking.
In the middle of that, I don't know if anybody noticed, but Katya's eyes well up and she turns around and walks away.
Sure. Father, you were kind and gentle and never hesitated to help your people, to help me. You taught me everything. You taught me how to fight, and you taught me how to beat Ismark in almost everything. Memory will live on in us, and may you finally rest in peace with Mother at your side. Another moment of silence. Rain begins to fall heavier as Ismark grabs the shovels, hands one to Irina, and they begin to fill the grave with dirt once more. As you stand above this recently dug grave, mist begins to cover the floors of the cemetery. Ismark and Irina look intently at each other, then towards everybody else. They begin to stand back from the grave, pulling out their swords. It's the Dark Lord. He's here. Everybody ready yourselves. He's not taking my sister today. And as everybody looks around,
Yeah. Sword
you finally
drawn.
see a lone figure at the edge of the cemetery, shrouded in mist, crawling up his body, seeming to be pulling him down, but yet he stands. He begins stepping forward. Irina calls out, "Leave, devil! You're not welcome here." And Ismark turns, "What are you doing? Are you trying to incite rage into him?" "I'm not going to lay down for him to just do whatever he wants. I have more dignity than that." And the figure continues to approach, without impeding. He stops about 30 or so feet away, the mist moving, revealing his gaunt, pale complexion. He wears finely appointed clothes and holds his hands behind his back elegantly. "My dear Tatiana, I only come to give my condolences to your father. Please, allow me to..." "We don't want your condolences. We don't want you here. You're the reason he's dead. And stop calling me Tatiana." Strahd takes a moment. Brings his hands forward, then up. A slight smile appears on his face. "Well." Takes a slight bow. Then, "I will not overstay my welcome then. And to the new visitors, welcome to my land. Please, be careful. It would be a shame to see you perish so quickly." He turns towards the grave, bows again, and then turns around and walks slowly back into the mist until his form dissipates. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
God damn it. Alright. Ah!
Good stuff.
You met Strahd.
Woo.
There he
Briefly.
is.
It's your boy.
It's your boy. He turns around before turning into mist and finger guns.
Wow, 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 wow. Okay.
Good session, y'all.
Yeah.
Good time.
Definitely good.
Trauma.
Everybody that has sticked around until now, thank you so much. And make sure to join us. It is not going to be, our next session is not going to be next week nor the week after. September 6th, we are going to be taking a week off, and next week we will be doing our one shot of the month. However, we will be doing other sorts of streaming, so please join us at 7 p.m. Pacific time. We will be doing probably a stream of some sort of game or something like that.
It'll be some tabletop thing, whether or not it's another one shot. We'll figure that out. But we will be doing a D&D stream or some, like I said, some kind of tabletop on the 6th of September.
Yeah, so we will be back on the 13th. Please join us at 7 p.m. Pacific time for the next episode of Ravenloft Mist-Fits.
Got a ways to wait.
We got a ways to wait, but
What a place
it'll be
to
worth
wait,
it,
too.
I promise. It'll
I
be worth it.
know, right?
That was
So-
a pretty good end.
It was a good ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Good stuff. Good drama.
No, it was a terrible ending. What do you mean?
Oh, yeah. Right. If you want to follow us, please follow any of these links
Click on
to our
links.
Discord channel, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Discord's where it's at. So please join our community. It's growing, and we are loving every bit of it. And if you want to support our channel, go ahead and follow any of those links. Consider subscribing. If you can't, that is totally fine. Please tell your friends if they're interested in D&D, if they're interested in Curse of Strahd, and you like what you see, go ahead and tell them.
Or if you like Gothic horror.
If you like Gothic horror. If you like merch, we have a merch store. It's also in the... It is not in the support. I'm going to change that, but I will put that in here right now. Follow that link. We have a bunch of merch where we have our Talking XP logo along with the Ravenloft Mist-Fits. It's good stuff. And the stickers, of course, the one that we gave away. So anyways, thank you all for joining us. We will see you in 3 weeks.
Or next week.
Next
week,
week, 2 weeks,
We'll
3
see
weeks.
you soon.
Unless we'll see you soon.
On Wednesday for Minecraft.
Yeah, Wednesday we'll be playing Minecraft at 7 p.m. also as well. So anyways, see everybody.
Bye.
Bye.